my time, think it's my big dog, walking big talk, young veteran, living legend, bet I'm better than them. This is my ship, I'm a jacket like Letterman, y'all but not let them in. They gon' rotate this, so I keep the pedaling, started a chain. The cycle is heaven sent, this is from God, but I'm not your reverend, not in the pulpit. I'm a pit bull in this element, yeah. Said you gon' pull up, then settle it, yeah. I've been married to this hustle, this is my ring, watch out, step in it, yeah. And I ain't even got a yard, but I'ma get it here. Watch out, touchdown, pulling plans out the clutch. Everybody getting crushed, the cut down is for us now. Have to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did.
Out there, I got that kiwi taste to it. You can mix it with anything or you can drink it straight. www.nadajvodka.com, and it is a black owned company, so please go check them out. All right, Jay, what do we got going on, man?
Chilling, man. Welcome. Probably gonna butcher your name, Corinthian Howard. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the show. We appreciate your attendance.
Yeah, same, man. Corinthian. I think that is the correct way to say it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for joining.
Get out the bag since Mr. Petty over here. Get that out the way. Yeah, we lost over some bullshit by our coach, by the refs, the whole nine. We took that loss, and Greg was being petty as hell with the little intro if y'all didn't see it, but it is what it is. Greg gonna be petty. Eat shit, Greg. Okay, let's get the show started now.
Let's go ahead and jump into the show, guys. So Jay, what do you got? What do you got for us?
So let's talk about the big fight that happened about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mel and Canelo, rumored to be about 650,000 buys.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's about right, or too high, too low, or just about right?
Man, you know what, man? I originally, what was this? Maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said to myself, and I think I said it on our live stream. I said, you know what? I believe this card is going to do maybe 500,000 buys. Jake thought that was low, and I think Jake, if I'm not mistaken, mentioned that projections were somewhere near and around what Spence versus Crawford did, and we heard from who was it again? Dan Raphael, who came up with the 650,000 buys, and
where he got it from.
Yeah, I heard that the number was low, but here's my thing, Jay, and this is where I struggle with it. Right, usually when pay-per-views do well, especially when they hit 1 million, you hear about them quickly. Tuesday, late Tuesday, sometime Wednesday, you hear about a pay-per-view that's done extremely well. It was Thursday and we still hadn't heard anything, and then Raphael gave us the 650. Yeah. It's now Sunday. Have you heard anything else about it? I haven't heard anything else about it. Not a word from anywhere else to dispute the 650,000 buys. So at this point, I got to believe that 650 may be correct. If it is,
is that for you? Is that about right, or is that high or low?
I thought it was. I thought it was high based off of the buzz that we heard around, just in and around, just social media. And I know a lot of people are going to say social media isn't the be all tell all, and that may be true. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's true. I'm just saying that based off of what we could see from the analytics we saw, the fight didn't appear to have a whole lot of buzz around it. So it felt high. Yeah, it felt high to me. But when you think about those numbers, 650, let's say it did 700,000 buys, you're talking about with the gate that Steven Espinosa said was already 20 plus or something like that. You're talking about roughly $80 million, right? They paid Canelo 50. You still got to pay the distributor. You still got to pay the undercard. The promoter still got to get his split. PBC still got to get their cut. All of those. So, like, to me, 700,000 when you have to pay Canelo a guarantee of 50 million doesn't sound like good numbers to me personally. That's my. I mean, I'm like, they gotta. I think they probably were in the red with this fight, in my opinion. But
I think so too.
Without knowing all the dynamics of all of it, but it feels like it was probably in the red. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, nah. For me, I didn't have it doing no 650. I mean, if 650 is correct, then it exceeded my expectations. I had it doing around like probably low 4s, 450 tops, just because it was no buzz around it. no buzz whatsoever. I mean, when any of our shows, it wasn't buzz around it. When we did videos on it, it wasn't buzz around it.
When we looked at other people's videos, it wasn't a buzz around it.
No buzz around it, no matter who was doing it. And not only that, it's like the all access weren't then hit on nothing. The first one or the second one. I mean, it was like crickets. It's like they just dropped them and people no one really cared about it, you know. And it's mainly because it's their own fault, because this was a fight that no one asked for. Yeah, they got a cool little tag, undisputed versus undisputed, but no one cared about this fight. No one asked for this fight. You know, Mel not fighting over a year, coming up 2 weight classes. No one cared about that. You know, people want to see one fight with Canelo, and that's David Benavidez. And that's not to say David Benavidez is going to beat him, but most people feel like that's the biggest threat to Canelo at 168. David's a natural bigger guy, lankier, throws punches and bunches, has some power. You know, young and not completely proven outside of his fight with Caleb Plant. But that's the fight most of us want to see. You know, and then the fight itself was lackluster. I mean, Mel was on his bike. He didn't really try to win the fight, you know. And when we did our fight party, we couldn't hear anything that was being said in the corner. On the epilogue, they showed clips of what was being said. DJ was telling him what to do. He wasn't doing it. And then at the end of the fight, you're going to tell your coach, my bag, baby. My bad? Man, DJ should have slapped him, bro. He should have slapped him. Should have slapped him for that. Because DJ's already having a rough year already. Seeing how Frank Martin performed in the performance of Spence, but at least Spence was a dog in his fight against Bud. He wasn't quitting. He was doing everything he could to try to get on Bud. But Mel backed it in. He didn't get knocked down until the 7th round. He took that shot at in round 7. That's when he took the shot across the head with the right. Took a knee. So it's not like people say, oh, he fought his power early on. He really didn't take a direct shot really until then. Not saying the other shots weren't hurting, but not in flush. So for you just to be on your bike the whole time and talking about Lions only, even you mentioned a couple of other videos in our live a few weeks before the fight, how Mel was like, he was very subdued. You know, he wasn't really talking. He wasn't talking like he was going to win the fight. The press conferences, he was just like, what y'all going to say about this fight? Y'all going to say Charlo a bad mother effer. Not Charlo 2-time undisputed. Not the champion. He said he was going to win. I think out of all the press conferences he did, I think he said he was going to win 1 time. So yeah, Jay, Charlo came for that fight for the bag. That was it. So I mean, I think that 650K is high, in my opinion. And yeah, I agree. It's going to be Canelo fans that were the ones that paid for that fight more than likely, because Mel don't got the fan base at all. We know this.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree. And we'll see. I think, in my personal opinion, like I said before, I think it hurts. It hurts Crawford. I don't believe people are going to be anxious to see a fight between a guy that's a welterweight moving up 3 divisions when they just saw a guy that was moving up 2 divisions do so poorly. And again, I'm talking more so about general fans, right? The ones that we call the casuals. They're not going to necessarily be all that enthused about that. Now, maybe people feel that Crawford's profile will dictate a different result, but I don't believe so. And it definitely hurts Maul as well in terms of his opportunity to get a fight with Canelo Alvarez. So I think the good thing about this fight is that I believe it added some clarity in terms of what's going to happen with Canelo Alvarez next. I think his only choice right now is to take a fight with Benavidez. I don't believe that any other fight is going to generate the requisite revenue that not only PBC wants, but Canelo as well, because the 50 million is just the baseline, right? At some point, he wants to make above and beyond the 50. Right. So he wants to sell as many pay-per-views as possible. So I think he will be incentivized, because I think not only Mexican American fans will be interested in seeing him against David Benavidez, but I think just in general, boxing fans will want to see him versus Benavidez, because we want to see what happens when Benavidez put that pressure on him and see how Canelo responds to that level of pressure and how he counters it. So I would be excited to see that. But that's the one good thing that came out of all of it, is that there's some clarity in terms of what direction I believe he might go in.
Yeah, and just to address NHA too, no one wanted to see Canelo fight Amir Khan. No one was asking for that fight because we knew it was going to happen. No one wanted to see that fight. Just like no one wanted to see Amir Khan fight Bud. Yep. No one would ask for neither one of those fights. So, I can't. I don't see that. And then going back to this fight here in the epilogue, you saw Charlo saying that he gave his all. He was all emotional at the end, tearful, and thanking Juan Goose and everybody. I'm like,
I got a chance to see it.
You didn't give it your all, really. If that was your all, and you would just seem like you were happy at the end of just saying that, well, I didn't get knocked out like other fighters. John Ryder didn't get knocked out. 97-year-old Triple G didn't get knocked out.
Yep.
So you didn't, man, miss me with that. And the fact that Derek James was telling you, are you just going to be a punching bag? Are you going to fight? If you train his question, if you going to throw punches and try to get them, come on, man. Nah, Charlo, I can't give you that. And this taints you for coming back down. Even when you come back down to 154, like you said, I mean, I'm happy Bud did what Bud did as far as tweeting about Charlo, saying how he went out bad. Everything Bud said, I agree with it. What everything he said about Charlo, I agree with him 1,000%. You went out bad. He should be. If I'm Bud, I'm like, man, I ain't wasting my time fighting this cat. For one, he ain't even undisputed no more. Two, look what he did. He ain't gonna help me out. He gonna actually make me look bad. So I'm not mad at Bud for saying everything he said on that. And the epilogue just, the one part that really would stay forever in my mind was in round 12. Right before round 12, DJ told me you need to fight, and then you see DJ, they panning DJ in the middle of the fight, and DJ put his head down like this. Shaking his head. That said it all right there. That let you know he gave up. That let you know he was just there for the pack, there for the check. And DJ wasn't aware of this, obviously. Because DJ was trying to tell him what to do the whole time. So it just, man. I can't be in there and be like, okay, Charlo and Tim Tszyu, I'm all amped for that fight. Nah. Before I had Charlo waxing Tim Tszyu. Now I'm like, shit. Tim Tszyu might get Charlo up out of it, or he just make Charlo just run around the ring like he did against Canelo. And that's something I hate that I didn't want to say.
Somebody put this in the chat. This was probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, but they said that they believe both Charlos are done. And I sat back and I thought about it, man, and I'm like, man, he might be right. Both Charlos might be done. Because, like, Jermell, and we can go into Jermell after this, Jay, because that's a good segue, but Jermell seems to not necessarily be all there, and Mel seems to be satisfied now. And if he's satisfied with a bag, he just got probably his biggest bag versus Canelo Alvarez. Immediately after the fight, to Jake's point, he's hopping around and he's calling out Crawford, which suggests to me that, hey, I just was able to complete this fight and get the biggest bag of my career. There's an opportunity for me to get the second biggest bag of my career against Crawford. And I already want to start the promotions for Charlo versus Crawford now. So right there in the ring, he's not necessarily thinking about, oh shit, I just lost and put on a terrible performance. He's already thinking about the bag, the next bag that he can get. So to me, at the elite level, Charlo Jermell might be done. So I thought that was an interesting point, and we'll see. There's no guarantee. Maybe he still does have hunger, but right now he's starting to seem like a satisfied fighter, Jay.
Yeah, very much so, man. That's why it's like no one can really take this dude serious. I mean, if you in it for the bag, that's cool and everything, but don't sit there and just try to say one thing and sell this, and then you do the exact opposite. We know you for being, because we've always talked about this being an emotional fighter. It can be good and it can be bad, but he's out there fighting. Yeah. This should make everyone look at Spence and be like, yeah, Spence got his steamrolled by Bud, but he gave it his all. He didn't stop fighting. He wasn't going to stop.
No,
So I mean, but this right here with Mel, this messes up Mel for any other fight. I mean, I don't know where he goes next, but ain't gonna be many people taking it seriously, except for H-Town. Those only people that's really gonna take it seriously for him. I mean, anyone else is gonna be like, nah, I'm good. Can't be on pay-per-view. I'm not paying for that. Nah, not at all. But yeah, to your point about Maul, Maul kind of snapped on IG a little bit talking about him. It's weird about their dynamics because Maul was with him before he went out to his ring walk and everything. But afterwards, Maul's taking pictures with Bud and everything. And then on IG, he's kind of selling them out, talking about how his kids getting bullied by other kids saying like, yeah, your uncle took a knee. That would sit right for me. I mean, I don't care what I got going on with my twin brother, my family member. I can't sit there and take pictures with someone that they have direct issues with, and especially about may possibly fight. I couldn't do that, man. Even me and Bud were cool. I'm like, yeah, that's my twin. Y'all got issues and everything. I can't, not publicly at least. I can't do it that way. That's just a bad look. But yeah, Maul said he wasn't drunk or wasn't drinking or anything like that, but he ain't ready. He ain't ready mentally to fight neither. Even if it is Jose Benavidez Jr.
Yeah, Maul was all over the place, dog. And, Maul was talking about having a Southern twang. And that's true, man. When you think about Southerners, some of us talk slow. I don't think I necessarily talk slow. Sometimes I talk slow. Sometimes I talk fast. But a lot of Southerners do talk slow. And that's the reason why people accuse us of being slow. And that can't be farther from the truth. But I don't think he was drunk. But to your point, the comment with his son and having to take a knee and having his son explain how he has to take kids coming in front of him taking knees and stuff like that, probably not necessary. It seems more like in the manner in which he said it, it felt like to me that he was just taking a poke at Mel. I alluded to this in one video where Maul basically said that he was originally supposed to get the fight and they're both going to get the bag. Well, if they're both going to get the bag, how is that possible without your brother losing, right? And I thought about that for a while, and I think Maul always thought Mel was going to lose, and that's what came to fruition. And they seem to still have some level of issue. I mean, he's going to be there to support his brother. He's not going to just completely turn his back, and I don't think Mel's going to completely turn his back on Maul. But it still feels like there's some kind of beef going on there. Whatever it is, that's their business. But
yeah,
the rant, it went from he's going to get revenge on Canelo to Caleb Plant. He's going to get Caleb Plant. And then it went to Gilly and Wallow talking about he'll beat them up. And I'm like,
he talked about Charlamagne God, didn't he?
Huh?
Didn't he talk about
he mentioned Charlamagne, and I mean it's just all over the place. And Gilly responded saying, you basically I'll be at the fights, you ain't gonna do anything. And my thing is Maul is, of course Gilly can't beat Maul, right? Maul walks up on Gilly, he'll beat the brakes out of Gilly, but at the same time, man, a lot of those dudes ain't gonna fight no boxer, man. They gonna shoot, or his people are gonna shoot. So if I was Maul, I would not be threatening civilians or people who are not in the sport. Man, leave those dudes alone, man. And I do believe Gilly has street ties. Not to say that he's doing anything street, but he certainly has street ties from, his doing his thing back in the day. So it's not a good idea to threaten those dudes, man. Leave those dudes alone. Threaten the boxers and get in the ring and eventually fight those guys. It is what it is.
Yeah, and also on that IG, you saw how he was, all the stuff that he was eating. If you're supposed to get ready for a fight in about 6 to 8 weeks, and you eating like that, you can't be serious with me. I mean, what weight is him and Jose Benavidez Jr. supposed to be fighting at? Can't be 160.
It's 160. Jose Benavidez. Yeah, he just recently fought at 160. And Jay just mentioned something in the comment section that I was not aware of, but we did know this. Plant responded saying, "You just saw me and ain't say shit." So, and I believe that too. I believe that. Because they were both at the fight. Remember, we did a video right after that with Plant saying he still wants that smoke. And that was right after the fight. So both of them were at the fight. So I'm not surprised if Maul laid eyes on Caleb Plant. But maybe Maul is talking about in the ring. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't need to say it out of the ring. I don't know. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there because we already seen Caleb about that action. Maybe Maul just like, hey, man, I ain't about to fight unless I'm getting paid, which that's what I would be doing if I'm a boxer. I'm not throwing no hands unless I'm getting paid for it.
You damn right. That's the only way I'm throwing hands. I'm on my boxer. You got to pay me for it. But I mean, when we spoke about Caleb Plant wanting the Maul fight, I get Caleb just because it's a grudge match now, pretty much. But as far as it to me is being fair with this version of Maul, this ain't fair right now. I don't think this is fair. Now, unless Maul does something like T.O. did and surprises the hell out of me and comes in and fight Jose Benavidez and shows, some different, shows his skill and shows that the 2.5 years off ain't bother him, which I truly doubt. That might change my mind. But till then, I don't want to see Maul fighting Caleb Plant like that. I mean, just from a competitive aspect, I don't want to see that at all. I'd rather see Caleb fight David Morrell or someone like that. Plus, Maul be coming up from 160, 168. So it is useless to me in that regard there. But Maul has a ways to go. And to your point, like you mentioned earlier, I think the Charlos are pretty much, their brand is really damaged. I mean, it was already damaged by the antics they did outside the ring. Especially with Maul going through his own personal stuff, and then the way Mel handled it, and then the way Mel went out against Canelo. No one really clamoring to see them fight like that. Not anymore. That ship is sailed right now. Right now, the number one people at 168. There's 3 people at 168 in my eyes. Four: Canelo, David Benavidez, Boo Boo, and David Morrell. Those are the ones at 168 that I'm clamoring to see fight one another. David Benavidez is supposed to be fighting Boo Boo on November 25th. Now, we know he put out a video on IG of him training. Ooh. And saying David looking kind of chunky.
Yeah. So we saw that video, and David, shout out to David Benavidez. He's been on the channel before in an interview, and I got a lot of respect for David. But when I saw that, when they're fighting on November 25th, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to think that's about 7 weeks away. David Benavidez is 6'1", 6'2". He's about my size. So, just looking at his frame, dude, I'm like, he looks like he's plus 200 pounds. That's a lot of weight to drop in 7 weeks. Even if he was like 190, 195 right now, man, you got a camp where you're focusing a lot on weight reduction. That's not what you really want to be doing in camp. Weight reduction, honestly, in camp should be a byproduct of you just working out and not necessarily what you're actively seeking to do. And I also believe that it takes away from your time really just honing your craft and working on a game plan to beat your opponent. So I'm concerned that he looks that heavy at this juncture, 7 weeks out. He's a fighter. A lot of fighters can end up getting down in weight. But I'm just looking at how he looked versus Caleb Plant, and now we see him looking extremely chunky. Like, to me, if you're a fighter, you probably want to stay somewhere in the area of 10 to 12 pounds, maybe at the most 15 pounds higher than what you would fight at, right? You don't want to be walking around 20 and 30 pounds heavier than what you were normally fighting at and then just have to lose all that weight. That can negatively affect him in a fight against someone like Boo Boo Andrade, because you could come into the fight. Andrade is slick. He's fast. He got good defense. You may have to put in and exert a lot of effort in order to land shots on him. And if you had to spend your camp trying to get weight off, where like you're exerting a lot of energy to get that weight off, Sometimes you leave everything in the gym, man. You leave all of your effort and energy in the gym, and you ain't got shit on fight night. So that's my concern with David Benavidez. Like, what is he going to look like? Is he going to come in and look a little bit different? Are we going to see the old Benavidez pre-Caleb Plant fight where he got a little bit of body fat on him? You can kind of tell that he's not at that same level of conditioning he was at when he fought Caleb Plant. Like, what I can't see us getting the David Benavidez that we saw versus Caleb Plant. I can't see it, bro. Not where he's at currently. So that's concerning. It makes me wonder, what's the level of dedication currently in between fights? And is he already looking towards a Canelo Alvarez fight, and therefore he's not doing what he necessarily needs to do in the gym? I don't know. But, yeah, he looks suspect right now, bro.
Yeah. Looking past your current opponent will get you beat every time.
Facts.
I mean, that's especially this game here. You don't play boxing. You gotta take all your opponents seriously. You gotta train to the fullest. You can't do that. So, I mean, I thought he did look a little heavy on there. I mean, I know we got about 6 to 8 weeks left before. About 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks before the 25th. So, holiday around that time. So we gotta see if he's gonna be, fully dedicated and everything with the holidays and all that stuff. Then with family and everything.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting, man. I mean, what's Boo Boo looks on point. Boo Boo, when I've seen Boo Boo, he looks ready. He looks fit. He's one of the most awkward fighters out there right now. I just don't know what he does, from time to time, but we'll see. Boo Boo's a hard fighter. I think just from his style, just the way he fights, his style is odd.
Yeah. Mr. Pragmatic said nobody said Benavidez was a gym rat and he started his career at light heavyweight. So I'm not surprised that he's heavy. I'm not surprised, but as you age and get older, what is Benavidez now? 27, 28? Man, that stuff, it eventually starts to catch up with you. It looks like he should be fighting at light heavyweight, to be honest with you. But it's all good. We'll see how he ends up faring against Boo Boo Andre. I'm excited about that fight. I would like to see what Andre has and what he brings to the table versus David Benavidez and vice versa, based off what David Benavidez looks like today, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting. Yeah. Jay, before we slide to the
NHA2, I'm not taking that bet. I'm not taking a bet that Boo Boo might beat Benavidez. It's possible. I mean, I think it's a close fight. I think it's basically damn near 50-50 fight, because Boo Boo presents a different challenge, and he's a slick, awkward ass fighter. He ain't just gonna be sitting there just for you to hit him or just come straight forward to you. He's gonna give you angles, and some of the stuff he does is a little borderline dirty at times. But hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah, I like what Jay said. If Boo Boo can keep his conditioning up, we may see a repeat of Lubin versus Ramos. Before we go on, we got 61 people in the building, 18 likes. If you get the opportunity, people, please hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, this is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media. We are always dropping content, whether it's video clips, fight breakdowns, documentaries, we do it all. So hit the subscribe button and become a part of the family. Jay Rady just hit us with the $5. Appreciate you, man. Stay blessed, Jay and Greg. Appreciate you, Jay Rady. Salute. All right. Jay, what else do we have, man? I think we got a number of other topics to go.
Yeah, we do. I'm saving a few because some of them are just tying into each other. So Bob, your boy Bob Arum,
they call him Arum, but his mama call him Arum, so I'm gonna call him Arum. No, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Bob believes Tank and Shakur is a possibility. The question is, why Shakur hasn't officially really called out Tank? He's just been kind of pushing it, putting the ball in Tank's court. It's like, nah, I can't call you out. You got to call me out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've always found that to be strange, because Bob is basically saying that there's really no deterrent from making the fight. The networks are not an issue. It's just a matter of whether or not the money is going to make sense. Now, maybe the money doesn't make sense based off of what Tank Davis is looking to get in his next fight. I won't doubt that whatsoever. However, I've never seen a fighter believe that the A side is supposed to be calling him out. Does the A side make an offer to the B side? Absolutely. It happens all the time. But typically, the B side is always calling out the A side because that's the biggest payday that they're going to get, right? We saw it with Oscar De La Hoya. When Oscar was the A side and in his prime, everybody was trying to get a fight with Oscar, whether that was Shane Mosley, whether that was Mayweather, hell, even Bernard Hopkins, when Oscar De La Hoya was a weight class or two below, was calling out for Oscar to move up to 160 pounds so he could face him. Same with Mike Tyson. Even though people were fearful of Mike Tyson, that was going to be their biggest payday. So they were trying to get into that ring with Mike. Whether it was Lennox Lewis or Evander Holyfield, they all wanted to get in the ring with Mike. Same with Mayweather. When Mayweather became the man, everybody was calling out Mayweather. They wanted the opportunity to get that payday, whether it was Thurman or Danny Garcia, you name it. Whoever was in and around that weight class at welterweight, they were clamoring for the opportunity to fight Floyd Mayweather. So why is it that Shakur Stevenson is now saying that, I think it can happen in the future, and, whenever he makes me an offer? I don't get it. Call him out. That's how you build demand for the fight, right? Keep winning, keep putting asses in seats, and keep calling out the man that you want to fight, because that's your biggest payday. So it's just an interesting dynamic. And some people get upset with me when I say this, but I don't get why they get. I know why they get upset, Jay, because I hit them with facts and I always back it up. I have my statements, I have my opinions, and then I back it up with reason and logic. And they get pissed off. Don't get pissed at me. Don't come in the comment section saying I'm hating on Shakur Stevenson and questioning my IQ and my reading comprehension and whatever else you want to question. Just come up with a sound rationale for why he's doing what he's doing, and we can have a discussion, Jay. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just want Shakur just to go ahead and just call Tank out, say that's the fight he wants now. Just say that's the fight I want. I'm going to do everything. Have Bob, hey, Bob, get them on the line. I know they're the A side, but get them on the line, man. Get them on the line, because I want to fight. This is the best two fighters at 135 in his opinion, and go ahead and do it. All this just pushing it back. And the thing is, I'm like, I don't even know if I can trust that if Shakur even take the fight, because he ain't gonna get a big guarantee. A big chunk of it. Tank gonna get the chunk of that. So is he gonna pull the same stunt again when he's not the A side? Because he won the A side with Devin. So it's I don't know, man. And I think Shakur is a hell of a fighter, man. That's the thing that bothers me with some of these fighters, the way they move, because I think in the ring they are dominant. Shakur is a badass fighter in the ring. I hate the fact that he doesn't have the pop that some of the other fighters have or have had in the past that I'm used to accustomed to liking and seeing. But him and Tank, I think that'd be a really good matchup. I just don't think he can handle that power or how long he can take the power from Tank. Tank's going to land on you, and Tank has a really good boxing IQ. Him and Devin would have been a back and forth chess match. But as far as thinking that you can't make an offer, you can't really put it out there. Put it out there. Put it out there. You putting the onus on Tank now to make a decision.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Simple.
Hey, I gotta give some love to my guy though. Tunnel Vision is in the building. I don't think I've given Tunnel Vision the appropriate love. Top Rank will not set that fight up until they are in position to get a major bag. It doesn't make financial sense for them. I don't disagree with you, Tunnel Vision, whatsoever. I don't think the money is there at all. But my point is, I would like to see Shakur still call him out. Like the fight's not going to make money until we start building the buzz around it. And I think the buzz needs to be built on Shakur's end and not Tank. Tank is already that guy. Shakur needs to build the buzz on his end. And that's by talking about the fight, calling Tank out, saying that he wants to fight, so forth and so on. Now, he said that he wants to fight, but he's talking about, getting his profile up later and all this other stuff. And there's been a number of fighters that don't have the profile to get in the ring with an elite fighter, or at least a A-side type fighter, and they still are calling them out. I just don't understand the energy for everybody else and not Tank. And that's what I'm explaining.
Yeah. Yeah, it just bothers me with that. Also, it's like I'm just not only just the whole deal with him saying that Tank has to offer him, just the whole way Shakur went about the whole Devin.
Can I address something?
And the Frank and all that stuff. That bothers me.
Okay, let me address something Tunnel Vision said. But you said you didn't want Shakur talking about Devin. That is a double standard. I would agree with that. But I've changed my position on him talking about Devin Haney. I've changed my position on him talking about any fighter, because although I'm not necessarily a fan of fighters going on social media and talking about fights, specifically the details of fights. But
yeah,
in this particular case, I believe that Shakur Stevenson, that's the way that he's marketing himself. And I think that's the only way that he has really to market himself. So if he was going on social media and talking about very, very, very specific negotiations with Gervonta Davis, and I don't believe in that, you know, pull out. And if you feel like you need to talk about the details of a fight, go directly to the fighter and or the fighter's team. But don't go in there talking about the details of specific fights. Now, talking about that you want to fight the guy, I think that's his only marketing strategy. And although it's not my preferred method, I think that's probably the preferred method amongst boxers these days. I'm old school. They're not.
Same here.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, now I was addressing some people in the chat. Pitbull Cruz is very overrated. I agree 100% with that. Pitbull's biggest claim to fame is losing the Tank in a UD. A one-handed Tank. Now, Marley Marl, I get you saying, you said none of the elite fighters want to look as thirsty as Pitbull Cruz. But hell, Shakur been looking thirsty with the whole Devin stuff and going back with that. So he been looking a little thirsty with that as well. So, I mean, if you're going to look thirsty, at least look thirsty against the one that's going to give you something to drink. So, I mean, Tank will do that. Tank's the money guy. Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't think they need to let Shakur just needs to sit there and just wait and wait and wait. And we know Tank ain't about no damn belt. Tank don't care about the belts like that. That's why he don't care about Undisputed and everything. I think also now that Tank is really calling his own shot for the most part, I think we will get the fights, more competitive fights that we want to see him in. You know, Tank doesn't have the strongest resume at all. I damn so don't want to see a Tank versus Isaac Cruz at part 2. Hell, I didn't want to see the first one. So no one wants to see that. We want to see Tank in against the Devins, against the Shakurs at 135. You know, don't want to see him against no Pitbull Cruz or anyone else coming up from 130 to 135. You know, or shrinking themselves down from 140 to 135. We want to see him fighting the best at 135, which would be the Shakur. And Devin, if Devin comes back, I don't think Devin's gonna come back neither though. Don't make any sense to me.
Mr. Santos said my issue with Shakur is the antics and the approach to the business side. Respected Loma, then Haney offers, then walks, then does the same to Frank Martin.
That's my feelings too, Santos.
No, we won't. Those fighters want a lot more than they are worth, and the Cruz fight would be a big fight. I don't know if the Cruz fight would be a big fight. I don't know if the Cruz fight is a big fight. I don't think anybody wants to see that. Jay, what's the next topic, bro?
So speaking of money and everything, so there's a little birdie out there saying that PBC might be headed to Amazon Prime since they're not going to be on Showtime with regular fights. You know, so does that mean PBC would just be doing regular fights on Amazon Prime and then pay-per-view on Showtime, or is it Showtime just saying we're completely done with it?
I don't know what. Well, from what I heard, Showtime will be dibbling and dabbling in pay-per-views, but they will not have Showbox or their normal boxing programming on Showtime anymore. We have been hearing this for weeks. I've been tracking Paramount's financials for weeks. I know Tunnel Vision still doesn't believe. And we are going to see Tunnel Vision. I'm trying to tell you, this is no room. Okay, Tunnel Vision, we got to bet. I don't care what the lunch is. It can be 2 boiled eggs. It's the principle of it, right? I'm trying to tell you, we're not pulling this out of our ass. Okay, we're not pulling this out of our ass, bro. There's a reason why we're saying this. And normally we would say that this is a BS rumor as well. There is a reason why we're saying it. So I'll leave it at that. But I don't know how Amazon Prime would work now. T-Word, and hopefully T is still in the building. He did an excellent video earlier. So go check out the Mic Check podcast because they did a video on it. And I would love to hear T-Word call in and give his explanation of how it would work. But personally, I don't know exactly how it will work with Amazon Prime. I know a lot of people have Amazon Prime, but it still feels like there's a paywall there. And I don't know if, in general, boxing fans all have Amazon Prime. Hell, boxing fans typically are cheap. A lot of times they don't have Showtime either. So maybe they do have Amazon Prime. I don't know. but it just feels like it's not necessarily something that would fit well together. So those are my thoughts. I don't know the details of it. I don't know what it would look like or anything like that, but that's just my thought. So, oh man, tunnel vision. If I told you that the vice president of finance at Paramount told me that they're not going to have any more boxing programming, you're telling me he's full of shit? Not that the vice president of Paramount has told me that, because the vice president of Paramount has not told me that. But I'm just saying, there's a reason why we're saying it, bro. There's a reason why we're saying it. Go ahead, Jay.
Just take the bet from, up the ante on him. You being nice.
Yeah. I eat. It could be
right now with the bet.
It could be a quarter pounder. It can be a foot long from Subway. It can be a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I don't care. I just want everybody to know that you got me lunch, because I was right and tunnel vision was wrong. I want it documented that Greg was right and tunnel vision was wrong. That's what I want. I want it documented. And the day that they announce it, tunnel vision, I want you hear that following Sunday. Okay, we're gonna talk about what you bought me. No, tunnel vision. It's the principle of it. It's not. I know you're not cheap. It's the principle of it. It's not about the money. It's about the principle of it. I know you support the channel in a big way, so I know you're not cheap. I already know that. But Jay, what's your thoughts on it? And is T Ward in the building?
He was earlier. We need to block Easy Band, man. Easy Band bringing up BLK Prime, man.
I see Easy Band. Soccer Moms have Amazon Prime. Salute AM Sports Media Jay. It's on. Salute Greg. I appreciate you. Jay,
hey, as long as they watch the fight, man, it don't matter. As long as they're bringing the fights, man.
Jason Williams said, Greg being nice, how? He tells us every week he's petty, that he's an asshole. Yeah. He's both. He's damn sure petty as hell. I am. I'm petty and I'm an ass. I'm an ass. I'm a nice ass though. I'm a nice ass. I am. Jay, you know that. I'm an ass.
No, Paul. But I'm nice know nothing too. About it. You have a nice ass. Nah. Time out. You said it, not me. I just gotta make sure it's clarified.
All right, dude. All right. Anyway, what's next?
Y'all see he said it twice too. Nah.
I'm a nice ass. I'm not describing my ass. I'm an ass and I'm nice. Come on, man. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what the hell you talking about. Don't put that shit on me. I don't hear shit. No. Not happening.
I really need to find a better choice of friends.
You ain't got no friends, so you have to deal with me, ma.
I got plenty of friends. There's a lot of people that like me. They may not be on this live stream. They may not be in the chat, but there are a lot of people that like me.
And your ass, huh? Cool. I'm not one of them. I do not subscribe for that. So everyone, just because y'all subscribing to AM Sports Media, that's not what y'all are subscribing for. His ass is not part of it. No. But since you're in the petty aspect of it, I'm gonna get you right in your space now. So Timmy and Porter and Shawn Porter take on Bud chances against Canelo have kind of changed.
Yeah. Well, you said you talking about Tim Bradley and who now?
And Shawn Porter.
Yeah. So
and Oscar, all three of them.
Yeah, so I guess we can talk about all three of these. So let's start off with Oscar De La Hoya. So Oscar said that, and these are the antics of AM Sports Media. Really yours truly, right? Because I'm an ass. And what I love to do, and what people, let me explain something to you guys. So one of the things that I love to do is just debate. The part of the reason, probably 80% of the reason, Jay, that we started this channel was to debate boxing topics, to talk about boxing topics. That's what we enjoy doing. And so we put stuff out there, and you can agree with it or you can disagree with it. That's the fun in building communities and having these conversations. A part of what I like to do is take what you say and use it against you. So this is an example of that, right? Oscar De La Hoya, probably maybe like a month or so ago, Jay, literally said that Crawford would basically treat Canelo like a child. And then I'm sitting in the theater room, Jay, where I usually watch the fights from, and I get a message from you, and it's an interview from Oscar De La Hoya. I believe it was Fight Hype or Fight Hub, one of them. And I listen to it, and I respond to you. I said, I could have swore he said that Terence Crawford was going to win this fight. What is he talking about? And you message back, yeah, man, I could have swore he said the same thing. And literally at the same time, we sent the follow-up video where he said that Crawford would toy with him. So I think a lot of people got the sense that Canelo Alvarez had declined. And I don't believe we are seeing the same Canelo Alvarez that we saw, at 28, 29. I think he's a lesser version of that. But I think the rumors or the messaging or the narrative that he has declined to some great extent was premature. And we saw that in the Charlo fight. And now people are seeing what a blown up super welterweight looks like in the ring with a full-fledged super middleweight. And I think tones have changed. And that's Oscar De La Hoya. He's basically saying that eventually Canelo's going to hit him. He's going to get to him. And that's going to be all she wrote. And so I thought that was interesting. It basically aligns to what Bob Arum had already said. And one of the things that I want to point out very, very astutely, if you will, is that everybody, all these Crawford fans and some trolls, because we do have a difference. There are Crawford fans versus Crawford trolls. But Jay, I'll never forget how often they pointed to all of the experts saying that Crawford was going to beat the brakes off of Spence, and that's what they pointed to, and that's what happened, right? So I want you to take that same energy as it relates to all of these experts, including Bob Arum and Tim Bradley and Oscar De La Hoya and many others, even Keyshawn Davis now having second thoughts about this in terms of his abilities. Even Roy Jones has said the same thing. Like, I don't see him beating Canelo. I want you to have that same energy around what the experts are saying now. Okay? Don't use the argument of the ex. I can't stand when people do that, Jay. When you use an argument today and then that same argument doesn't apply later. So make sure you keep that same energy with the experts. But Jay, you tell me how you feel about Oscar De La Hoya, and then we'll go to Tim Bradley and Shawn Porter.
Yeah, now I'm laughing at Jason Williams talking about he's saying Bob Arum's name fluently.
I got it, Jay. I'm fluent now. Bob Arum. Arum. I got it now. Go ahead, Jay.
I mean, for me with Oscar just doing Oscar things, man. I think although Bud had already just signed with the PBC, I think it was also he had a lot of hate towards Canelo, and he was still, just getting off trying to sign Bud as well. So I think he was being extra nice about Bud and all that stuff there. And all of a sudden he switches his stance to a complete 180 on it. I'm sitting here like, come on, dude. What did you see that change? I mean, seeing Canelo versus Mel didn't change my mind about that fight. Well, honestly, Mel didn't give me anything else to see. Keep our energy. Y'all canceled all the experts or Hall of Famers that kicked against.
Yeah, I'm responding to that now. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Keep your energy. Don't keep my energy. Keep your energy.
Yeah, I mean, but Oscar going to do Oscar things. I don't trust Oscar. Even like when he was on the Breakfast Club and he talked on that, and then Canelo's on the Breakfast Club and talked to Charlemagne. Charlemagne's like, even when Oscar is saying something, you just don't know. You just can't really believe him, because he's always flipping it.
Yep.
So Oscar's going to say what he want to say. Now, for me, I'm thinking about this. The weight is just, to me, it's just too much for even the great, almighty, great Bud Crawford to overcome. I mean, it's 3 weight classes. That's not an easy sketch. Now we could just say that they're both just naturally the same weight. Then I'm gonna give it to Bud. But they're not. And there's a difference of a really good big guy and a really good small guy. Genuinely, the really good big guy is going to beat the really good small guy in a fight. That's usually how it happens. And I think I see no difference with this. And this is no slight at Bud. Bud ain't in that weight class. So it's not hating on Bud. Bud beats everyone at 140, has beaten everyone that he was supposed to fight at 147. He beat the guy that I thought was the guy at 147 in Spence. I give him all the credit in the world. I say he's the number one fighter in the world right now, pound for pound. Hands down. Canelo beating Mel didn't change my order. And Nui beating Scooter ain't changed nothing to me. So, I mean, Oscar is just stripping. Oscar, I don't trust Oscar at all on anything. But that's what they do. You know, same thing with Bud. Bud was trying to use Canelo's words against him now. Because there's rumor back in the day, you know, that he said he would fight Spence out of catch weight. That was what, last year? How long ago was that? I want to say it was probably last year or so when he said that came out, and then Bud saw it. Someone posted it on Twitter, so Bud grabbed him. He retweeted it, you know. But Bud changed his mind within the same week of this whole Canelo stuff. He said, "Oh, I can't go any higher than 160. You know, they make weight class for a reason." Then also he'll say he'll fight him at a catch weight at 158.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden he said he'll go up there. And it's all about money, and that's cool. That's cool. It's money and everything. That's cool, you know. Bud's near the end of his career. I don't think he's come back fighting another fight at 147. Because if it's about money, Bud shouldn't fight at 147 because there's no one at 147 that's going to garner the money for him. Now, as far as a matchup and the best fight available for him, it is at 147. That would be Boots, in my opinion. Do I think Boots beats him at this time? I don't think so. But I think that's the best fight for Bud as far as me being a boxing fan. I don't want to see him go up 3 weight classes to fight Canelo because he's at a disadvantage. I don't want to see that. What about you?
Yeah. Do I want to see him move up to fight Canelo Crawford?
Go back down to 147. Stay at 147.
No, I don't want to see him stay at 147. I want to see him go up to 54 and fight Spence. But he's clamoring for, and we'll get into this, and I guess it's another topic, so I don't want to go there yet. But he's petitioning for a fight. He's trying to garner buzz for it, and I don't think it's going to happen. But we'll get there. And so Tim Bradley is another one who basically is saying that he doesn't believe that Crawford gives him like 30 or 40% chance, man. At the end of the day, they make weight classes for a reason, and everybody keeps looking at. And I'm going to have Athletic Minds on hopefully this week. We're gonna actually debate this topic, Athletic Minds and myself. We'll probably do it in a live stream sometime this week. But we've been messaging and we've been talking about just getting on a live stream and talking about this very topic. We'll probably go for maybe like an hour or so. But everybody keeps talking like Crawford is like Mayweather, dog. And Mayweather is a different, like, even if you think Crawford is as skillful as Mayweather, they still have different styles, dog. And styles make fight. And one style can match up very well with a fighter where another style would not. And you would say that both of these fighters are very skillful. Now, I think Floyd is a more skillful fighter than Terence Crawford. I always will, and I still do today. But Crawford is very skillful. However, Crawford is not, I wouldn't deem him a defensive fighter. Like, Crawford gets hit. He gets hit. And so Canelo, when he fought against somebody like Floyd is a fighter that can actually be in a defensive posture, block all of your punches or dodge your punches, and then go immediately from defense to offense. And I think that's what made Floyd special, and one of the things that was difficult for Canelo Alvarez to deal with. Crawford is not a fighter that goes defense, offense, like very fluidly and naturally. He is a counterpuncher who is looking for you to be offensive and for him to counter it. Well, Canelo is also a counterpuncher that can go on the offensive. And I just believe that at some point, Canelo is going to hit him with a counter shot. Canelo's going to hit him with a punch, and he's going to feel it. And when he feels that punch, we'll see what he ends up doing. Now, he's not going to pull a Charlo. Crawford's going to fight, but he's going to have to fight in a very intelligent way. And I don't think it's going to be your natural Crawford that you would see at 147. And I think that's going to be his undoing. Now, right. transitioning to what Shawn Porter had to say, this is where Jason Williams, I'm keeping my energy in terms of not always going with what the experts say. He is saying that we know that Bud is going to test the gas tank of Canelo Alvarez. And I'm listening to that and I'm like, Negro, how? Like, how? Bud is not an active fighter. His punch output or work rate is not very high. And so I knew when I did the video that people were going to come on there and dispute it. So, of course, what do I normally do, Jay? I support my arguments with facts. Now, the arguments still could be wrong, but I'm still supporting it with facts. So I went to CompuBox, Jay. Now, I could not find like just a listing of like, punch output by division. But what I was able to find was punches thrown and stats for fighters that are considered like top 15 pound for pound fighters. And so if you look at that list and you sort it from an activity rate perspective, Crawford is the fifth least active. The least active is actually Gervonta Davis. The second least active is Canelo Alvarez. Gervonta averages 33.7 punches thrown per round. Canelo was around 41, and I think Crawford was like 46.7 or something like that. So Crawford only averages roughly 5-6 more punches per round than Canelo Alvarez. That's the welterweight version of Terence Crawford. We don't know what version we're going to get with Crawford adding 21 pounds. I would deem that he would be less active at 68. So this whole notion that he's going to push Canelo Alvarez to an area where he would have to really use up his gas tank, to me is absurd based off of the information that's available. And I'm just using the same type of stats that Shawn Porter used when he said that Canelo dips by the 9th round. That's true based off the stats. The stats also suggest that Terence Crawford is not the fighter that's going to push his gas tank. It's just as simple as that. So that's where sometimes I think experts can become fans just like fans. And that's my opinion.
Yeah. Also, it's like we don't know how Crawford's going to be at 160 if he's even able to push Canelo back. Being that, yeah, they're the same height roughly, but Canelo's naturally that size. I don't care what Crawford does in sparring. That's sparring, man. This is not to say we know Crawford's a strong ass dude, but still, Canelo's not the type to be pushed around very rarely. I'm also thinking like seeing someone move up. It's just moving up 3 weight class. I would still. As much as I like Floyd and everything as a fighter, I still see if Floyd was going to move up 3 weight classes to fight someone, let's say Andre Ward at 168. That's not clear. I'm just Floyd just going to beat Andre Ward very easily. I don't see it that way neither because of the weight difference. That's major key, and that's a really tough matchup.
I want to address a few things in the comment section about number one. You can pressure without throwing punches, Greg. Usually people who pressure without throwing punches have power. So you're forcing the guy to move because he doesn't want to be in front of that power. Crawford will not be the strongest man in the ring come fight night with Canelo Alvarez. So his presence alone will not be pressure. I'm sorry, that makes no sense to me. And Bud's punch placement, yeah, he's an accurate puncher. But being accurate doesn't necessarily, if the accurate punches are not causing damage, then what pressure does that provide? Like, I don't get that. Jay, I respect your opinion. I respect both of your opinions. But if he's not hurting Canelo, it doesn't matter how accurate his punches are. And then finally, King Art says Crawford has stopped every welterweight he is facing. You still question his ability. I'm not questioning his ability. That's the reason why I give him a chance in the fight in terms of he'll do way better than Charlo. He has the ability to make it an interesting fight. But you're talking about he stopped every welterweight. This dude is one of the best fighters in the world, and he's going to be 21 pounds heavier come fight night. That's a different animal, dog. Like, come on, bro. Anyway, Jay, back to you, man.
It's like a foregone conclusion with Bud, for some Bud fans that Crawford can beat anybody, no matter what weight it is, no matter what era. I mean, it's crazy because some of the people that were pretty much shitting on Spence before they fought gave Bud all the credit after they fought, like Bud just beat a Hall of Famer. Spence ain't a Hall of Famer. Bud even said it himself, Spence ain't a Hall of Famer. You know, Bud is a hell of a fighter. Hey, Jason, well, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that you believe that Bud stops Fury. You know, he fights everyone. He beats everyone. Bud beats Floyd, Sugar Ray.
Why is Easy Band talking about a freaking fight that happened back in 2013? Seriously, like, why is he talking about a fight where Canelo fought him at 152, and he's comparing that to today's Canelo at 168? Like, I don't understand it, Easy. I'm sorry, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me to compare those fights. Like, I don't get it. And this again. So let me say something. Let me make something very clear.
You know damn well you think Bud would be Usyk and Tyson Fury on the same night, and then fight Deontay Wilder and let Wilder hit him in the face in one fall too.
Let me make one thing clear. If they make this fight, and that's a big if they make that fight, I will be rooting for Terence Crawford. And this is not going to be a popular position that I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it because I'm going to always keep it truthful with you. The black man in me will not allow me to root against Terence Crawford if he faces Canelo Alvarez. It won't. I will be rooting for Terence Crawford to win that fight. It's as simple as that. So this is no hate towards Terence Crawford. This is me being just objective. I don't have I'm not a Terence Crawford fan really, and I'm not a Canelo Alvarez fan. And if any fighter is in there, I was pulling for Maul. If it's Benavidez, I'm gonna be pulling for Benavidez. If it's Crawford, I'm gonna be pulling for Crawford. So it doesn't even really matter. But the black man in me is not going to allow me to root against Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. It's just not. Yeah. So
and Jay,
objectively, I don't see it happening. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, no, Jake, the three weight classes is not 15 pounds, it's 21 pounds. It's 147 to 168. So it's not 15 pounds. That's not something easy. That's not an easy thing. I don't care what he walks around with, there's ways of comfortable the fighting at. Now, if Bud moved up to 168, got a couple of fights in at 168 to get acclimated to the 168 pound division and fighting people normally at that division that's bigger than him and stronger than him, and Bud is successful at that, then okay, I'll be like, okay, Bud looks good. He's acclimated to the weight at 168, and now let's see what he can do against Canelo. Morel.
Yeah.
Yes. That makes sense to me. But just jumping up from 147 to 168. Like it's no problem. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. I just don't see it happening.
I struggle with it too.
Like a lot of people say it like, oh, Spence messed up by what? Letting Bud get to 147 and get acclimated to the 147 pound weight class, right? So by that logic, Bud needs to go to 168, get acclimated to 168, see how he fares there, and then fight the beast, whoever that may be at that time. You know, we know Bud's 36. He'll be 37 next year.
Cornelius,
it's time to get acclimated, I think.
Cornelius Burnett says, what do you think about folks saying Canelo is ducking Crawford? I don't. I think they are. I think that's wishful thinking. I don't think there's a whole lot in it for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo needs to do 1 million pay-per-view buys, and I don't care what you guys say. Terence Crawford is not that dude. He is not that dude, man. He's not the dude that's going to. He's not the dude that's going to push it over 1 million pay-per-view buys. I think it's David Benavidez, in my personal opinion, because I think if Charlo would have if Charlo would have made a good account of himself, and that pay-per-view did about, let's say, 750, 800, then you could get me on board with Terence Crawford pushing it over 1 million possibly. Because now people are going to say, well, Terence Crawford is a much better fighter, and we've seen what he's been able to do moving up in weight classes, so maybe people can get their minds wrapped around Terence Crawford being successful in that fight. There's boxing experts that are very doubtful that Terence Crawford will be successful in that fight now. So the general public is going to be the same way, bro. I just don't see it.
Yeah, and he has multiple knockouts in multiple weight classes. Yeah, 140 to 147, 135. Those three. And he didn't move up immediately and fight the top dog. We know that. And no, I don't see it as a duck for Canelo ducking Bud. Because what does Canelo get out of this fighting Bud? Who's not a regular 168. He's a 147 pounder.
If it ain't a paycheck, there's nothing in it for him.
Sounds good with a name, yeah. But him moving up, he's not gonna get the credit. Just like if Bud was to fight Tank, Bud's not gonna get the credit he deserves for beating Tank. Why? Because he's moving up. Just like y'all have problems with Spence fighting Mikey. Y'all didn't give Spence for beating Mikey credit because why? Mikey moved up.
Yes, not only that, we've seen so many times they're talking about Boots hasn't done anything to fight Crawford. So if Crawford beat Boots, he hasn't done it. It doesn't mean anything to Crawford. So so you're talking about Crawford not wanting legacy fights. But to me, Terence Crawford is not a legacy fight for Canelo Alvarez. If he beat him, all people are going to be talking about is that he moved up 3 weight classes. That's all they're going to talk about. So Canelo, when he says, hey, why not? He's talking about moolah. If you can make it, if you can make it financially feasible for Canelo to take that fight, meaning, hey, this fight does nothing for me. I'm getting $50 million no matter what. So why do I need to take a $50 million fight just to fight this little guy where I'm going to get ragdoll for fighting this little guy? Make it $100 million. Make it $80 million. Make it $100 million. Then I'll fight him. Because now you're making it enticing for Canelo Alvarez, regardless of what the outcome is going to be relative to Terence Crawford and whether he wins or lose. It's enticing. But just I'm already going to get $50 million. It's not enticing. It's not enticing. I'm getting $50 million no matter who I fight. So why fight a guy that if I beat him, they're just going to say he was small. And if I lose to him, that hurts my legacy. Why would I do that? And I don't even think Canelo is thinking about losing to Terence Crawford. There's just no incentive in it.
Man, stop it. Easy man, stop it, man. Floyd and Bud are not the same, dude. Stop it, man. Stop it. It's not the same as he fight at this point in time. When he fought Floyd, they were closer in weight class. He was fighting at 154.
This is the fandom that these folks are talking about.
154. So
this is pure Terence Crawford fandom. This is pure fandom. Like any other fighter we was talking about that's moving up 3 weight classes, no matter how great they are, you would not say that's a legacy fight. You wouldn't. You would not say that. That's like saying that's like saying like Sugar Ray, if Sugar Ray would have moved up and fought Mike Tyson. Oh, that's a legacy fight for Mike. No, the hell it isn't. He's small. That's not a legacy fight. What are you talking about?
No credit for doing it. He gets no credit for beating that man.
You get no freaking credit for beating that guy. That's like James Toney saying Pernell if Pernell Whitaker would have moved up, if Pernell Whitaker would have moved up to 160 when James Toney was there and he beat him, saying that's a legacy fight for James Toney. Look how great Pernell Whitaker is. Not moving up from 135 to fight him at 160. It's not a legacy fight. It's just a great small fighter. Guys, stop it.
Juice Lee, that's a lie. He's like, we did have a problem with Spence fighting Canelo. We didn't want to see that fight neither.
We always said we didn't want to see that fight.
We always said we didn't want to see that fight.
We never said we wanted to see that fight. I always said that he would lose to Canelo. Impress Sports Channel $4.99. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Why wouldn't Canelo use that logic with Mel? He didn't look at taking that fight as a fight he could not get credit for. Yeah, that was his first fight on his contract, though, bro. And that's 2 weight classes, not 3. And that Canelo, that Charlo is actually a larger Charlo. And to your point, Jason, you just made, it was supposed to be Maul, and Mel was a late change. So now, not only are you having that situation where it's a late change, but to compound that, you just saw Charlo move up 2 weight classes and look like dog poo. So now that tarnishes a fight with Terence Crawford even more. That's why he's not going to go down that path. It doesn't make any sense.
King of 47, it's like, no, it's not. It has nothing. But we don't want to see Bud be legendary. Bud has already handled his business. He's been undisputed twice.
Listen,
he's a Hall of Famer. The thing is, we want to see a fight that's more of an even playing field. So like I said, if Crawford goes to 168 and stays at 168 and gets a couple of fights down, get acclimated, proves he's at 168 that he can handle that weight, fight Canelo, cool. Then you could say Canelo has a reason to say, okay, I'm fighting someone at my weight class that's even with me. Now I can really get a legacy fight. I'm not pulling someone up from 3 weight class down to fight immediately.
I want to see Terence Crawford get the Canelo Alvarez fight. So now that's on record. I want to see Terence Crawford get the Canelo Alvarez fight. I don't see an incentive for him to get the fight if I'm Canelo Alvarez. Okay? Because I think Terence Crawford is going to go in that fight, and I will be pulling for him, but I think he's going to go in that fight and lose. And I think it's some G shit for him. I think it's a G shit for him to go up to 168 and try to get that title. We've said that on multiple occasions. Jason has said it's some G shit. I said it's some G shit. I would love to see him get the opportunity to go up there and try to be legendary. I don't think the fight is going to happen. I'm looking at it from Canelo Alvarez standpoint. I don't believe that that's a fight that's enticing to Canelo Alvarez. If I'm in Canelo Alvarez's shoes, I'm like, why would I take this fight? Unless I'm getting an absorbent amount of money, I don't care to take this fight. I'm not getting, if I'm looking to close out my career and be legendary, beating a dude that's 3 weight classes below me, no matter how good he is, does not contribute to that. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Only you have to pay me a lot of money for that fight to make it make sense.
Exactly. That's the only thing that entices me. Tunnel Vision says for $5. Thank you, Tunnel Vision. Appreciate it. Floyd fought at above his walk-around weight versus pound-for-pound fighters. If Crawford is on Floyd's level, move up and fight Morrell or Benavidez. Facts. Go and fight one of those guys and show us that you are actually, because think about it. To your point, and I said this a week ago, if he moved up and fought one of those guys, man, he would show now, and he beat Morrell. Oh, shit, Crawford is...
Real quick, sorry, hold that thought real quick. Jason Williams, Triple G didn't want it. Triple G, it made no sense for him to fight Triple G. Triple G wasn't coming down to really fight him like that. Triple G wouldn't even fight Andre Ward like he's supposed to. My fault. Go ahead, Greg. My bad.
Like he said, or like I was saying, if you move up to Morrell or you fight one of those guys are going to be like, you're going to be in a position where, wow, like Terence Crawford is a real threat. He just came and took out David Morrell. That fight would be huge. I'm talking about 1.2 million pay-per-view buys easily. I'm like, yo, that fight is going to be fire. But at this stage, no. Hey, Jerry, my lender for life, man, I would never duck you, man. I am so sorry I missed I've never seen you actually in the comments section. So my apologies. I think Greg is ducking me, though. Open up those damn phone lines. Here comes the heat. Okay, Jerry wants to open up the phone line. I'm not ducking you, Jerry. We're going to open up the phone lines right now. Hold on.
I want some change, yeah.
Jerry, we got the phone lines open right now, man, if you want to call. My apologies. I forgot all about the phone lines. Jerry, I'm gonna let you know this week you're not gonna get me going, Jerry. I refuse. You're not gonna get me going. Tunnel Vision, $5. I appreciate your Tunnel Vision. Crawford can't force the fight by beating Morrell and becoming a mandatory. Yep, facts. Neither one of these is Jerry, but I know who is in the building, and it's my guy, a fellow FSU fan. Walt is in the building. What's going on with you, bro?
Jason,
what's happening, man?
Walt, did you see the video that played at the beginning of the podcast?
Oh no, I was just coming to it because I was watching my hometown team get their ass kicked.
Oh, well, I tell you what, when you get the opportunity to go watch the beginning of the podcast, incredible work by myself. Incredible work. Go ahead, Walt.
But real quick, right? Last week I lost my cool. And I'm telling you why I lost my cool, guys. Because when Crawford beat Spence, that dude, Jerry, said he beat him like a slave. And where I'm from, there's no white dude going to say that. It's not even jokingly. That's like you would get your ass kicked every time you seen if you said that. So I don't care if he says he beat him, but to say he beat him like a slave, he said that on y'all show, man. Y'all wasn't listening that day. He said that.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
And it's like, yeah, well, he said it. If he denies, go back and the fight the day after y'all came on after that fight. Go back and listen what he said. It's like, and I stand on what I said last week when it comes to him. So when he comes on later, if he really wants to, but I want to just get on to something real quick though.
Yeah.
But here's the thing y'all are missing with Crawford and Canelo.
Okay.
Canelo, Crawford can't go up and fight Benavidez or Morrell because Canelo's going to try to knock to fight them guys. They both will beat Canelo. Plus, when Crawford fought Spence, I guarantee you he was a good 160, 162 the night of that fight. and you've seen how good he moved. I'm not saying he can beat Canelo, but I'm saying he gives Canelo the best fight anybody's given him since Floyd, because skill-wise, he's way more skilled than Canelo is right now. Canelo's so slow. He punches hard, but he's slow, and he throws just wild punches. He throws at your arms. If Crawford can take them arm punches, I'm not saying he's going to win, but he's going to give Canelo everything he could handle, because Crawford is stronger than a lot of people think. I'm not saying he's going to be able to push Canelo back, but he's going to be able to sting Canelo. He hits harder than most guys Canelo spot. We're just not giving Crawford, and I picked Spence to beat Crawford, but we're not giving Crawford the just that he do. Crawford's way more skilled than Canelo as a fighter. Canelo was more skilled when he fought Floyd. He was quicker. He got up under you and all that. Now Canelo just throws these wild punches. If Crawford can get away from that and not get caught, he can outpoint Canelo. I think he can, man. I would take Crawford in that fight if I had to put money on it.
If Crawford can stay,
because I don't see Canelo how y'all see him. Hold on. Crawford's a lot better than Jermell.
Hey, so we've said on multiple occasions that Crawford would be a live dog in the fight. And to your point, if Crawford can stay away from him for 12 rounds and not get hit with anything, yeah, he can win. But the problem is, I don't think he can. Like, I think Canelo will hit him. He's going to. Crawford isn't the guy that doesn't get hit, and I don't care what you saw against Errol Spence, because yes, he did do it. He did his thing against Errol Spence, but I think people are putting way too much stock in that performance against Errol Spence.
Jay, Greg, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this: Crawford's speed, he didn't have to use it against Errol. He has better footwork than he had against Spence, and I'm not saying he does get hit, but what I'm saying is with Canelo, he telegraphs his punches. Errol doesn't telegraph his punches. Crawford will be able to get out of the way of that. My thing is, I agree with you on it. If Canelo goes to the body a lot, then he's going to have a lot of problems. But if Canelo keeps doing what he's doing, headhunting and winging at arms, Crawford can beat him, man.
So let me ask you this, Walt, because this is the challenge that I always have when people make this assertion. So, because the way that you're describing this is that you pluck a 21-pound, or you pluck a 147-pound version of Terence Crawford. Hold on, let me finish. You put him at 168 pounds. He got 21 more pounds on him. That's not the same Crawford, dog. It doesn't matter. The speed that you saw at 47, that ain't going to be the same speed he displays at 68.
Wait. So, Greg, the night of the fight, he was 147?
No.
Greg, the night of the fight, he was 147?
No, I don't think he was. But he wasn't. But he was.
Crawford was a good 161, 162.
Yeah, but that's different from being 165.
No, but I'm saying he can, if he gets to 164, he can beat Canelo. He can, because his skills just way better. Canelo to me is one of the most overrated fighters in the history of the sport. Because when you seen him fight top guys, he got dominated. Bill dominated him, and Floyd made him look like a little kid, man. And then Lara made him look terrible. Crawford's a better fighter than Lara. He is.
I don't disagree.
That's the thing y'all are missing. Why do you think? Remember? Why do you think? Canelo kept saying that Boo Boo was a terrible fighter, because guys like that give Canelo problems.
Okay. He's also bigger than him.
He's a lot bigger than him.
They were smaller then. That was at 154, bro.
No, but we talking about height. Lara was a problem for Canelo.
And Crawford's more skilled than Lara and hits harder. That's the thing y'all are missing.
I don't think I'm missing that. I think you're talking about a version of Canelo Alvarez from like 10 years ago.
Canelo was better then. He moved better than y'all.
No,
Canelo was better than y'all. He moved better than Let's go back. I watched. The reason why I'm telling y'all this, I took time to watch Canelo's last 5 fights, even the Jermell fight, and he moves deliberately. His punches come. You can see his punches coming from a minute. Crawford will see that. Crawford's not dumb, man. Y'all think Crawford's gonna fight Canelo like he fought other guys? He's not.
I don't think so.
You think? Here's the thing too. You think Crawford was only watching Arum for years? They've been comparing him to Canelo. I guarantee you he's been training for Canelo too. Y'all,
I don't doubt
he's a very smart cat, man. And I'm not even that big. I was more of an Arum fan, but skill-wise, I always knew Crawford was that dude, man. So
yeah, we always knew
y'all
Crawford was
gotta put
skillful.
some respect on him, man.
We
But
have
hold
put
up,
respect
real
on
quick before I
him.
get
Saying
off,
that he's not
Jason-
going to beat Canelo is not disrespectful. But go ahead.
Jason, before I get off, man, y'all need to fight Cristobal. Because
Yes, I
Cristobal
agree.
did the same thing when he was Oregon's coach, man.
Yeah, I put that
All
in
he
the
should
first
have did
video.
is took a knee. He's a bum, dude.
He's a bum. I agree with that wholeheartedly. The whole team is they're a bunch of bums.
Now, hold on, Greg. Let me talk here. This is my team, man. Shut up, Greg. All right, you chill over there. You already did
Go
your
ahead,
shit.
Jay. What you got to say?
Starting. All right. But this thing, we should have never been in that situation. Number one, it was a trap game. We fell for the trap. We got trapped.
There's no such thing as a trap game, man. We had trap games against BC and yesterday's game, man. What are you talking about? That's just their coach. They go back and watch him on Oregon. He's not a big game coach, man. Y'all have a good day, though.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in, Walt.
Yeah.
So I just posted.
Oh boy,
I just
some shit.
I just posted the number. No, losing is not the problem. It's how you lost, Jay. It's not the losing.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me see what this is. 206. This isn't Jerry either.
Damn. What's the number?
Hey, 206. You on the Angry Man podcast with Jason and Greg. What's going on with your fam?
You're going to have to lock this in your memory, man. It's band up, man. You did?
Band up. What's going on with you, bruh?
What's good, man? And you get real hostile about my boy TC, man.
No, man. I'm not getting hostile. Hey, like, what are you talking about?
You know what I mean? You know what I'm hearing, Greg?
What's that?
I'm hearing some of the same things you guys said with Arum. You remember you guys just saying he's not going to be the stronger fighter in this fight. I heard you say that a couple of times. And
Yeah,
what happened? Hold up. And what happened when he got in the ring? It was until he got in the ring and pushed that man back that you guys said, hold up, he is a stronger fighter. So now you guys got to reassess some things. Don't over-assess yourself with this Canelo thing.
Yeah.
And then get in the fight and be like, oh, we didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that's not going to happen in this fight.
Trap.
Yeah, that's not going to happen in this fight.
All right, that boy got power in both hands. I'm trying to tell you.
I don't care what y'all say. He not moving up and pushing Canelo Alvarez back. I don't care what you say.
Man, that boy got some skills on him, man.
I do. I agree with the skills. The skills will be the winner.
All these colleges, but my boys from UW is still undefeated.
What's UW? It can't be Washington.
University of Washington.
Oh, man, stop.
Wisconsin.
Come on. You see my dogs out there putting in work this year.
Yeah, they look okay.
Y'all got Oregon this coming weekend, right? No. Oregon got USC. Who Washington got coming up?
I forgot who we got, but I know we 5-0 right now, or 4-0 right now. We going in. I was just up there doing. I do catering. I do catering for 30 an hour, so I was just up there with them cats last week.
Dope shit.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. So it's good. It's good though. But yeah, we're gonna see what's up, and I'm gonna tap in with you guys. I'm about to drop some super chats for you.
All right, appreciate you, Band Up.
Yep. All right, man.
Right. Later, bro. That's our guy, Band Up, man. He's saying everybody keep talking about we not putting respect on Crawford's name. We putting respect on his name, bro. We say it's some G shit moving up. We say that it like he got a chance in terms of his skills. I just don't think he's gonna win. And this is my lender for life. Jerry Soriano is in the building. What's going on with you, Jerry? I can't let you get my blood pressure up this week. I'm not gonna let you get my blood pressure up this week.
Listen. Hey, I've been called a lot of things in my life, but I've never been called a white guy. That's the first one. That is. Hey, what I will tell you, my friend, is that I remember during the Spence and Crawford fight that on the live when you were covering it, you were drinking cognac. And, dude, I think you introduced something to your show, man, because I don't know what the heck's going on right now. But anyway, hey, getting back to why I'm calling. Greg, I was initially going to come at you a different way, but then I said, you know what, let me toss you an olive branch here. How about, because if what I hear is correct, and Canelo may be fighting the Dominican guy at that's coming up from 160 up to 168. If he ends up fighting, his name escapes him right now. I'll tell you here shortly. If he fights that guy, Cinco de Mayo, then what I think Bud needs to do is Bud needs to fight Charlo in January. And he probably needs to fight Zoo in May. He needs to go ahead and become undisputed at 154. And then there is absolutely no way Canelo wouldn't fight him in September, because now he's just moving up 2 weight classes. And here's something that you're missing on this Canelo versus Crawford. And the reason why I'm saying you ducked me is because I sent you a link where Fight Hype asked Espinosa straight up, hey, everyone is asking about this Canelo Crawford fight. What do you think? Can we get it done? And Espinosa said, yeah, I think that fight can work. But and he said, obviously the fans want it. But here's what you're missing. I heard an interview with Coach Red, one of Crawford's coaches. And what he said is this. If Crawford takes that Canelo fight, he will not come in at 168. Crawford will come in where he still maintains his speed. I wouldn't doubt Crawford coming in at 161. Crawford is not going to come anywhere near 168. That's where Charlo, I don't know what he was thinking. Like, he came into that fight without a strategy. He came into that fight absolutely not trying to win. There is no reason why that guy came in the way he came in, almost 167.5, bloated, and obviously, more importantly, wasn't even trying to win the fight. Crawford will come in at 161, 162, just barely over middleweight. He will still retain his speed. So here's what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you. Canelo knows. I'm telling you, and I'm a Canelo fan. I appreciate Canelo. But Canelo knows there are 2 guys out there that he can't beat right now. One is Crawford, and the other is David Benavidez. He's going to have to fight one of those 2 guys in the next 12 months. And I think it's going to be Crawford. Because the beating Crawford will give him and the beating David Benavidez will beat him are 2 different types. I think that Crawford will out-slick him. There's no way. I don't see Canelo being able to hit Crawford with his punches. I'm sorry, the telegraph, they're not quick enough. Not that he's slow, but I guarantee you Crawford's going to see them punches coming. He is not faster than Spence.
Like he saw.
I mean, he's quick. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. And so the way that Crawford will beat him and the way Benavidez will beat him are 2 separate, two different styles. I think Crawford will outsmart him, outslick him, and more than likely beat him in a 12-round decision, whereas I think Benavidez will stop him. So I'm a Canelo fan, but there's a reason why that guy has not fought Benavidez.
I agree.
And there's a reason why he's kind of halfway saying, I'm not going to get any credit. You weren't going to get credit for beating Charlo. Okay, so let's and then the same excuse with you haven't fought anybody. Listen, and I'm gonna get off after this. Listen, the way that Crawford and Canelo is pushed and marketed is that this is for fighter of this era. Because Canelo thinks he's the fighter of this era, and so does Crawford. And honestly, I don't think Crawford can say this is the Crawford era unless he fights and beats Canelo. So if Canelo's going to take another fight in Cinco de Mayo, I think Crawford needs to change course and take on Charlo quickly, like January, and then fight Zoo in May, and then him and Canelo need to fight by the end of this year, by the end of 2024.
Jerry,
that is it, my friends. I'm going to hang up.
Let me ask you a quick question before you go. Let me ask you a quick question. Let me ask you one quick question before you go. Wouldn't it be better for Terence Crawford to just go to 68, face an opponent at 68, and beat an opponent at 68, showing that he has the ability at 68? That fight would be massive if he did that. Yes. But here's the thing. He cannot beat David Benavidez.
He cannot beat any 168 pounder, elite 168 pounder that has physical advantages. Here's the thing. And Crawford thought about this because at first he was like, hell no, I ain't going to 168. Until he said, you know what? I got a 4-inch reach on Canelo, and I'm an 1.5 inches taller. And I'm strong for my size. So it's either I got to be able to stay out of the way of his punches, or when the punches come, because I can see him coming, I'm going to cover up and not get hit flush, obviously. Nobody wants to get hit flush by Canelo. But again, I'm a Canelo fan, but Canelo cannot beat Crawford, and he knows it. I'm not going to say it's Mayweather all over again, because I think Crawford will beat him differently. I think Crawford would beat him differently. I think Canelo will take much more punishment versus Crawford than he did with Mayweather. Mayweather out-slicked him and was kind of moving out punches. I mean, Mayweather was very light on his feet during that time. Crawford could do the same thing, but I think Crawford will just like he beat, just in the same manner that he handled Spence. That's the way he will beat Canelo. I'm telling you, and like I said, I'm not a Canelo hater. I am more of a fan than anything else. But there are two guys that he knows he's going to have a problem with. David Benavidez will absolutely embarrass Canelo. That is not a good fight for Canelo. And the reason why people think that activity will ruin Canelo is because, yes, Crawford is not going to throw a bunch of punches, right? But he throws in combinations, and Canelo does not throw combinations anymore. And so the guy is past his prime. I mean, there's a lot of fans out there that go, no. He's still a great fighter. He's in the second phase like Mayweather, and in a way, Crawford, they're not dancing around the ring anymore. But Canelo is not what he used to be. He's not what he was when he fought GGG the first time. He's not that slick fighter that gave Daniel Jacobs all sorts of trouble, where he was just basically like the Matrix, getting out of the way of all the punches. He's not that guy anymore. I mean, he's obviously he can't move around. He's got a bum knee, and his head movement ain't there. I mean, he can fight in like spurts, but Crawford, he cannot get out of the way of 3-punch combinations. That's why when Mayweather, I don't know, it just came out recently, Mayweather was overheard talking to Charlo. He said, dude, you needed to keep that jab and follow up with the right hand. It's that second and third punch that Canelo cannot get out of the way of. That's why David Benavidez will absolutely destroy Canelo. He will not beat him. He will destroy him. To the point where, honestly, I don't even want to see the fight. I'd rather him fight Crawford and not get embarrassed and have to retire getting beat the hell up by a younger, longer, stronger, just every advantage you can think of David Benavidez has over Canelo. Canelo will not fight David Benavidez. I guarantee you. That's why I'm convinced he will take the Crawford fight. Because if he loses to Crawford, it would not be in the same manner that he will with the Benavidez fight. So, but anyway, I will close with saying this. I don't know the guy's name that keeps confusing me, that I said something about Spence got beat like a slave. I think Spence said he was going to beat Crawford like a slave. All right? I wasn't going to address this, but just so you know, I'm a life coach. Mm-hmm. And if folks can't enjoy what we do, this platform, and I know you and I, there were some fans that called last week, and they enjoyed the fever in which we were discussing back and forth. Yeah. But I want people to understand this is a form of entertainment, and I would hope people will value their lives a little bit more. I think this is an adult show. You need to be at least 18 to call in, I'm assuming. Yep. So I want everybody that's listening in, that's enjoying the growth of this platform, because Greg and Jason are doing a great job, and this channel is growing. But this is pure entertainment, folks. So if you're at home and you're getting upset over something someone said, you may want to take a breather before you call in and say some things you're going to regret later on. So, but anyway, my friends, enjoy your Sunday. I'm going to hang up and listen.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Man. Appreciate you, Jerry. That was Jerry Soriano, and let me say this real quick. 757, give me 1 second. Let me say this real quick. This platform is designed for people to come on here and give their thoughts and go back and forth. And Jerry and I actually exchanged text messages last week. Because as much as you guys might have thought I was upset, I wasn't. I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation with Jerry last week, because sometimes I like to go there, and Jerry was poking me, hoping that I went there. So it's to Jerry's point, it's entertainment, and we should all come together and just enjoy the platform and enjoy our conversation and enjoy each other. 757, what's going on with you, fam?
What's up, man? First of all, love the show. For some reason, it unsubscribed me. I don't know what YouTube is doing, but calling from San Antonio, but I'm from North Carolina, man. So how you guys doing?
Gotcha. Doing well, man. Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So first of all, man, the night of the Crawford Spence fight, I was kind of torn because obviously I'm more of a fan of the man Spence is because of how he moves his career. But I got a lot of respect for Crawford. You know what I mean? A lot of respect. The fight, when he fought Spence, I mean, there's some things that we won't get into as far as some people might think they're excuses or whatever, but we'll just say I hope to see the rematch. I hope Errol can redeem himself. But real being real, there were some things I saw in that fight that I also think Reynoso and his team saw in that fight, and it's the reason why he will not fight Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford could move up to 168, 160. He's not going to fight the dude. I think a lot of people have misconceptions of, like, yes, there's weight divisions for a reason, but the skills that Canelo has, Crawford would just be a major problem for him. Now, I believe the last caller mentioned something. Yes, Crawford would not come in at a high weight, but I think with you guys, what I would love to see you guys do is, like, maybe, you know, do like a live film study of like certain fights, because in that fight, if they do fight, one of the things that Crawford is going to do to Canelo, if they ever fight, which this is not the type of fight that Canelo usually takes. Let's be real. The guy, he moves his career in a very careful way. Mm-hmm. I feel like if they do fight, what Crawford will do, and one thing I will say about Terence, his jab from that southpaw stance, I do not think, even with the weight difference, I think it's going to be a problem for Canelo. And I think it's one of those things where I have a high regard for Errol. You know what I mean? And even though I think there were some things about that night that he was maybe a little off, I have a high regard for Errol. You can't really say good things about both fighters and then shit on them afterwards. I really give him a lot of credit for how he beat Errol. But that jab that he was hitting Errol with, that is a problem. And another thing about Canelo, a lot of people think that Terence is going to be moving around the ring or not. He's not. With Canelo, what you do is, if you look at fighters that he has issues with, they take half-step backs and then they step inside because he throws wide punches. And with his short arms, the fact he will try to get physical with Terence, but I'm going to be honest, they'll probably cancel each other out. So what will happen is there's going to be a lot of resets. And I'm telling you, Canelo is going to get – and the thing about Terence, if he gets an ounce of, like, any type of blood, he's going to try to beat Canelo up in there. Like, and I'm not even – trust me, I have a lot of respect for Canelo. I have respect for divisions. But I really want you guys to really rewatch and look at the analysis of that fight. And if you look at what he did to Errol and look at how he fought, how strong the dude was, and that jab and how he stepped around and stepped inside, like, it's a fight that Reynoso's not going to let Canelo take that fight. If he does, it's just a very dangerous legacy fight. That's my thoughts on it. And I hate to say that, you know what I mean? But I got to give Bud his credit.
No. And so let me say this. And I hear what you're saying. But I still believe that people are putting a little bit too much stock into what he did against Errol. And people are comparing Errol to Canelo Alvarez. They're not the same fighter. Their styles are not the same either. And people think just because Canelo will sometimes walk you down, that because Errol is doing the same thing, they're basically the same style. They're not. They're not the same style. And not only that, Canelo will, in this particular case, because the one thing, and to the point that I think it was Band Up just made, that we came in there, we said we thought Errol was going to be the stronger man. We absolutely thought Errol was going to be the stronger man. And the very moment that I saw Errol get pushed backwards, I told Jason that the fight is over. The fight is over. Because that was the thing that I thought Errol would always be able to go to, and he couldn't go to it. I do not believe Terence Crawford will be the stronger man in this particular fight. Now, I get what you mean by the southpaw jab, and a good jab is going to be a problem for anybody. So I do think that I believe Terence presents challenges for Canelo Alvarez. I just think eventually he gets hit. And when he gets hit, it's going to change everything, bruh. Like when Mike Tyson said everybody got a plan until they get hit. When he gets hit, that plan is going to change. And when he goes up to 160, he won't be the same Terence Crawford. His reflexes won't be as fast. His jab won't be as quick. Everything will be slow to a degree. And I think what people are doing is they're seeing the quickness and the ability of Terence Crawford at 147, and they're plucking that version and dropping him magically into 168 and think they're going to get the exact same performance. And I don't think you will, regardless of people saying, oh, well, when he fought Errol Spence, he was walking around, he was in the ring at 161 or whatever. It's completely different training for one weight class versus another. And if he walks into the ring at 160, he's going to be at a natural disadvantage because Canelo ain't going to be in the ring at 161. Canelo's going to be in the ring at whatever he was against Charlo, which is going to be easily 178, 180. Easily. So you're going to have a 20-pound advantage going into the ring, and that dude is going – and we haven't seen anybody hurt him in that weight class yet, but Crawford's going to do it. And if Crawford can't get his respect with punching power, Canelo's going to keep walking to him and throwing, and eventually he's going to land. So I get your point, but I think there's another perspective to it as well.
So, no, and here's the thing. And here's the thing I want to say. I respect your perspective, but it's one of those things where I'm even calling in as a devil's advocate. You know what I mean? Like I've already told you, like, it's certain things I've always questioned about Crawford. And this is really not even just the Spence fight. Let's be honest. If we're comparing these two fighters and they're anywhere close to the same division, any honest boxing fan will tell you Crawford is at least 2 to 3 levels above Canelo. We're going to be honest about that. You know what I mean? We're not talking about somebody who's in the same stratosphere. We're talking about somebody who is, from an analyst standpoint, like you can ask any of his peers. There's nobody who's going to say he's on the same skill and talent level as Crawford. Do we agree on that?
I agree wholeheartedly.
Okay. So if we agree there, that right there lowers that gap. And I agree. Canelo hasn't been hurt by a lot of people that he's fought. Now, and that goes into another discussion that we don't have to get into, but we all can say, we can say it's a little scrutiny there with who Canelo's chosen to fight. You know what I mean? And people that can hurt him. His last fight, we're not even going to count that. I don't even count that as an actual real fight. You know what I mean? Because that was it was pathetic. So you're talking about who can fight. We're talking about John Riders. We're talking about people that are nowhere near the skill and talent level of this fighter. And I'm not saying Crawford would definitely beat him. But what I'm saying is the things that makes Canelo successful, that whole like jabbing, not throwing any punches in the middle of the ring and getting people leaning straight up on the ropes, that's not going to happen against Terence Crawford. I'm just being honest with you. Yeah, he'll get hit, but I'm just being honest with you. If Terence Crawford comes in that ring and he is sharp, which usually he is, you might see something that's different from what you're seeing. I understand the perspective, and this is me talking to myself too, because I really don't think he can beat him, but I have to believe what my eyes can see. And it didn't just start with the Spence. The Spence fight really confirmed a lot of things about Terence Crawford that I knew, even though I thought Errol was going to be able to overcome that. I thought Errol was going to be able to weather the storm and eventually wear Terence down and get like maybe a decision, or it might have been a draw. I didn't think I was going to see what I saw. But when I saw how strong the dude was, and it's not about just the clinches, it was just the physicality, like, and his mentality and that jab, and then the counterpunching when he was backing up on the ropes, the things that we've always seen about Crawford, but now we're seeing it on a level against a guy who is really strong. Like, Errol is really strong. I don't think he was as strong as he usually is that night. And I'm not trying to compare Errol to Canelo, but they do have similarities. And Canelo, I'm being honest with you, I have respect for him, but he's not one of my highly regarded fighters. I definitely don't put him on the level of Terence Crawford. I'm just being honest. Or even David Benavidez. You know what I mean? The guy, he fights certain people. So we have to look at the opposition also of what he does against his opposition. That last fight is evident. Like Billy Joe Saunders, some of these fighters, like, they're not even, let's be honest. Come on.
No, I don't disagree. You don't get an argument from
Canelo.
But look, I want other people to call in, man. This is my first time calling into the show, guys. Love the show. I mean, you guys do a phenomenal job, man. It's one of the best, most polished podcasts I've heard in a while, man.
I appreciate that, man, and thank you for calling in. And I enjoyed your perspective, man. It was really good.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, think about doing that film study, man. Just looking at it from just a analytic standpoint, like, and I trust me, like, I'm still a little bitter off the Errol fight, even though I love Terence Crawford too. But Errol, I just like the way he moves his career. You know what I mean? I just got a lot of respect for the dude, and I'm just like, I hated to see him get beat up like that. But you know, I became more of a fan of Errol after the fight. But I gotta give Bud his credit, man. I'm not saying he'll beat Canelo, but if I had to bet my life on it, if that fight happens, I'm gonna go with Bud.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
All right now.
All right, later. That was a 757, man. Great perspective, man. Great balanced perspective there. No, I
not picking.
Dude, I actually hope that this is one of the fights where I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, Jay. But I agree with what Tunnel Vision said. At some point, your skills don't matter. The guy's just too big.
Exactly.
We got our guy in the building. Adrian is back. What's going on with you, fam?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you guys doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Okay? Good. I'm over here in Culver City right now, chilling at the cemetery with my mom. So I thought I'd give you guys a call from over here. You know how
Absolutely.
that goes. What I want to talk to you guys about is, so check this out. So I had a little debate going on, with somebody that I know, right? And what I want to ask Jason or Jason and Greg, both, either or, is who do you think is the face of boxing right now? Because, well, yeah, I don't know. Who do you think is the face of boxing? But I'm going to tell you who I think it is, and you might be shocked. Okay, who do you think is the face of boxing right now, man?
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, it's close. It's coming up. Tank is trying to make that fight to be the face of boxing. Canelo still has the more pay-per-view numbers outside of the one deal that Tank had with Ryan. So I'm still giving it to Canelo by a slight margin. But, outside of this fight here, he was trending in the wrong direction, in my opinion. Tank was trending up. Canelo was trending down.
True. And what do you think, Greg?
I hate answering these questions. So here's what I'm going to say. I think it could be Tank, but I got to see Tank again with somebody other than Ryan Garcia before I can say absolutely that's the case. Because Canelo just did, let's call it 650 on the low end. Canelo just did 650 with Charlo, who has no fans or doesn't have a big contingent of fans. If Tank comes in his next fight and he does 500,000-600,000, I would say Tank is the face. If he comes in and he does 300, 400, then you got to still give it to Canelo.
You know what? I agree with you guys 100%, and I'm really surprised that because I can't stand Canelo. I can't stand that fool. But the reason why I do agree is because of this. Is just what you guys said is because we got to see what Tank does in his next fight. I want to see Tank be able to put up those Canelo numbers fighting anybody, because Canelo can get 500,000-600,000 fighting John Ryder, fighting anybody, right? Yeah. I want to see Tank be able to do that. Right now, he's not able to do that. He got that 1.2 million with Ryan Garcia, but that was because he was with Ryan Garcia. Yeah. I want to see him get some big numbers by himself. I mean, he shouldn't have to. I mean, if he fights against Shakur or something like that, I mean, yeah, they'll probably get some big numbers right there. But that's not going to make, in my eyes, haven't passed Canelo yet, because Canelo, man, for some reason or another, man, that fool gets support. He gets support from the Latinos, whatever, and so you got to give it to Canelo still. And I can't stand the fool. But speaking about what you were talking about earlier, man, Benavidez, man, hopefully he gets that shot, man, because if he does, he's gonna light up Canelo. He's gonna light him up good. And I definitely don't want to see him fight Bud, because I don't think he's gonna fight Bud, to be honest with you, because there's nothing in it for him. If he beats Bud, okay, he's probably got three weight classes below him. And
agreed.
And Bud's hard to negotiate with. And if he goes in there with Canelo, trying to pull that crap that he pulled on Spence, I mean, everything that Spence gave to him, Canelo ain't going to give him that kind of shit. Excuse my language, but he's not going to give him that. Canelo's going to tell him, hey, man, you take what I give you, and that's it. Facts. See, and Bud doesn't do business like that. Bud's a pretty stubborn guy, this and that. He doesn't want to bend. He thinks that he's more than what he is. Don't get me wrong, Bud's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to negotiating, he's a snake, man. What he's pulling on Spence right now, he's a snake. You know, I mean, we discussed it earlier. He's a snake, man, and so I don't think he's going to get the Canelo fight because he has too much pride to do that. Because Canelo ain't going to give him Canelo's not going to give him a super big payday like the way that he thinks that he deserves. He's going to go in there thinking, oh man, shoot, I deserve 50-50 with Canelo. If he goes in there with that attitude, he has another thing coming, baby, another thing coming. Because Canelo is the cash cow, and he is not. He's not, man.
Facts. So, totally agree.
What if you guys know anything about Boots? Is Boots got anything coming up, or what's up with Boots?
He's supposed to be back in November.
Is that right?
Yeah, but the opponent, we have no idea.
Check this out, man. I saw this little video clip with Benavidez. Benavidez said that he would love to see, what do you say? Said that he would love to see Boots fight Crawford. Benavidez said that in a recent clip. Also, Stephen A. Smith just came out with it. Yeah, I don't see that little clip. Stephen A. Smith came out during his podcast where they were talking about that Crawford's got to give Boots a shot. What's up?
Yeah, I saw that.
I love that. So Boots' name's starting to get out there, man, and the pressure's starting to hit Crawford, whatever. So either Crawford's going to have to drop those belts, or he'd have to fight Boots or whatever. I know he's got to fight Spence first. But I'm just happy to see that people are actually recognizing that Boots is a special fighter. Boots is my favorite fighter. Period.
Yeah, that would be a great fight. That would be an absolute great fight.
Oh, that's going to be a great fight, man, if it happens, man. Great fight. I'll tell you something right now, man. Boots' name is starting to get out there with the Latinos, too, as well. It's starting to get out there, man. Little by little, starting to get out there. But he needs to get another big fight out there. Hopefully he can fight somebody halfway decent pretty soon. Maybe, I don't know who's available right now. Maybe Stanionis, hopefully, or something like that. But if Boots gets out there with another big fight, whatever, I mean, man, hopefully he can get everybody's attention and put that pressure on Crawford, because Crawford just can't duck and hold on those belts forever, man. We don't need two Canelos doing that crap.
I hear you there, man. Totally. Anything else you want to share with the people?
That's about all there is, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys' time right there, and I'm glad that you guys gave me a little input right there, because I agree with you guys just said about the face of boxing. Hey, man, much love to you guys. Send a shout out to my dad in heaven. Love you, Dad. My son Jermell. Love you, son. You guys have a nice weekend, bro. Appreciate it, man.
All right, appreciate you, man. Thanks, Adrian.
You too, man. Oh, all right, peace out, man.
All right, man. We coming up on 2 hours. We're gonna take one more call, and then that's going to be it for the show. Man, we had some people call in today, Jay. Some really
different,
some really well balanced people in terms of their opinions. And we're gonna wrap up the show with my guy Terrence, Best Damn Videos. What's going on with you, fam?
What's going on, Greg? What's going on, Jason? Yeah, man. Yeah, stay the best for last. But anyway, I've been trying to get on. Finally got through. I just have a couple things. First of all, let's talk about the PBC, man. Yeah. I've been saying this for years. The PBC came into the business with a boatload of money. So it's like a stack of cars. Initially they had that money that they got from the investors that they were using to buy out contracts. So they started with that.
Yep.
When that money ran low, when that money started to run low, they ran the Fox, got themselves a nice deal. Again, they fumbled that deal by putting on bad fights, not the fights we want to see. Lucked up and got a deal with Showtime. And again, they did it again, giving us horrible fights, pay-per-view fights that nobody wanted to see. And this year, finally, they start to give us the fights we want, but guess what? It's too late. Showtime has already lost millions and millions of dollars by the time that happened. So guess what? Showtime, they got smart and said, okay, fine. We'll take the fights from you, only the ones that's big. So that's why they have to try to go to Amazon right now, because they done fumbled the bags for so many years, giving us shitty fights that we didn't want to see and making us pay for them. Now they got to get to another. But that's just one thing.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question first. So you telling me that Top Rank and DAZN were putting on better fights? Because they were putting on shitty fights too.
But not all of them were pay-per-view. That's the
Not
problem.
Not all the PPV.
We'll take shitty fights, but not pay-per-view. We don't want to pay money to see these big BS fights. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
PBC.
If they had put them on regular TV or something, that wasn't a problem. But
hold on. When they had that $500 million, they were putting on some of the best fights, and that shit was on that was on Fox and NBC. Like they were putting on big time fights on Fox and NBC for free. Okay,
so what happened to that model?
The problem was, this is my personal opinion. Some people are going to disagree with it in the chat, but I think PBC was overpaying fighters. That's my opinion. I don't think they were putting on shitty fights. I think they were overpaying fighters. But go ahead.
Yeah, but that's when they had that money. It really wasn't their money. It was the investor money. Let's go past that. Shakur, sure. One of y'all said Shakur should call out Tank. He did. And the minute he called out Tank got upset. I mean, because Shakur had took a picture with Tank. You know, he was cool, but he called him out. He said he want to fight him. And then Tank got real upset about it and said, "Oh, well, you ain't gonna be my friend. Don't ask to take a picture with me. You gonna call what he suspect Shakur wants to do? He wants his titles. Of course, he wants to fight him.
So if he's not his friend, then keep calling him out. Keep calling him out. Keep calling him out.
When he got called out.
Yeah, well, why does Shakur care about how Tank responds? That doesn't matter to Shakur. Like you just said, he won the titles.
Because just like when you want that big fight with Canelo, you can't upset them. You remember when Boo Boo went into his locker room and Canelo said, "Get out of the locker room, get out of here, get out." You remember? You can't. I mean, you don't have to go to the extremes that Jermell goes to, kissing his butt throughout the whole press conference and bowing down, but you can't piss them off because they won't fight you. So Shakur, he's trying to keep that decent relationship with him so he can possibly get a fight. Unfortunately, that's how it is nowadays. You got to be nice to these people to get a fight, which is absolutely crazy. The next thing y'all missing in the Canelo and Bud fight is not a you guys said is he won't last the ninth round. The ninth round that Canelo hit him late. You know what, Bud? You know the thing that Bud does to a lot of fighters. He beats them mentally. They're exhausted.
You say that, Terence.
Because they're trying to figure out what the hell this guy's gonna do. That's exhausting mentally. And when you are mentally exhausted, that transfers to your body.
Okay.
So throughout that fight, just like when Floyd was just frustrating Canelo the whole night, he didn't know when Floyd was going to throw a punch. That's what's going to happen to Canelo. I don't even just like when Earl was going to fight Bud, and I told you guys all the time, but Bud will win that fight easy. It's the same thing I'm telling you with Canelo. It won't be close. He might not knock him out like he knocked Earl out, but it won't be. I didn't think he was going to knock Earl out like that, but he's going to beat Canelo easy. It will not be close. And just like the last caller said, that fight isn't happening right now. So, yeah, we know Canelo's not going to take the fight unless, the only way that happens if he has to either fight Morrell or Benavidez, and Bud is the only other choice. Because we know how Canelo operates. He takes the easiest route possible when he's going to fight somebody. But I think the other gentleman said he's going to fight some other guy, and it's guys like you that need to come out and say, no, we're not going to accept that, Canelo. You got three options. You got Bud, Morrell, or Benavidez. We're not buying anything else.
He has two options as far as we're concerned. And we have been preaching that already. Morrell,
so
Benavidez,
No, he's not.
Whoa, Jason. Okay. Why he not an option, though? Why?
Terrence,
because he's moving up 3 weight classes.
Real fast to you real quick, Terrence. If Bud and Canelo were the same weight, I got Bud all day, every day. The 21 pounds, you can't tell me that's not going to make a difference when you're making it seem like this is not like Roy Jones going up to a heavyweight to fight John Ruiz, who was a slower, unqualified fighter compared to Roy in any aspect.
Canelo. Same thing. That's a great example. Jason, a hell of hell of an example right now. We're talking about the Canelo now, 2020.
So hold on.
Version of Canelo. Not
so you're saying, hold on. I want to make sure I'm clear. So you're saying that Canelo Alvarez is a version of John Ruiz in the 168 pounds. So you had Lennox Lewis, you had some other guys there. Ruiz was a lower tier weak heavyweight. You're saying Canelo Alvarez is a lower tier weak 168 pounder.
23 version, yeah.
Okay. See, Roy picked him because I was a cherry. Roy knew that was his best chance to go there. So are you saying Bud is picking Canelo because you feel like Canelo's a cherry pick as well because he's vulnerable?
Well, that's what you're saying.
You say that's what your man is doing. He's not daring to be great.
Fair for him, huh?
Sound like you caught Terence. Sound like you caught in a trap.
Wait, I didn't even hear what Jason said. What did Jason say?
Repeat it, Jay.
So you're saying Bud is moving up to fight someone that's basically a weak champion, like Roy did. So he's not fighting daring to be great to fight the best then.
Because Roy was moving up to take on a weak champion. Hold on. Just to win a title. He didn't fight the best fighter at the division, which was Lennox Lewis. So now you're comparing it to. So you're basically saying that he's picking a weak link. He's cherry picking a weak champion at 68.
You want my answer to that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes. Did I stutter? Yes. You trying to go up there and fight no damn Morrell or Benavidez, some big John? Come on, man. He ain't stupid. He's going to get a big bag and still get a lot of credit. I ain't sitting here saying, come on, of course, yes, he wants to fight the weakest dude up there, but get the bag. Come on, guys. Y'all know how Bud moves. Come on, Bud.
At least you being transparent.
In the ring, he has that business IQ too. That business acumen. Of course he ain't going to fight no Morrell. He's going, if that's what, I don't know who keeps saying this Morrell and fight David Benavidez. He'll sooner retire before fighting them. And I don't blame him. He ain't fighting them big giants. Get out of here.
Hey, I'm glad. Hey, Terrence, listen to me. Huh? I'm so glad you called in. Trust me, this will be one of our shorts. Thank you so much. That was perfect.
Okay. He is not going there, and I'm the biggest Bud fan. So come on, like y'all acting crazy now. And as far as Tunnel, here's my question to Tunnel: who in the heck did Floyd? Who was his Morrell and Benavidez? He's acting like Floyd would have went up there and fought them, Benavidez or Morrell. Floyd would not have went up there and fought nobody like that either. Come on, bro, stop it. Nobody does that, man. Get out of here. Nobody's going to go up there and fight the top of the division. Roy wasn't going to do it. Bud ain't doing it, and neither did Floyd. So I don't want to hear it. He talked about Bud should fight those guys.
Great. I don't want to hear shit about you saying he's there to be if he fights Canelo.
That's just a hater. Yeah? Tunnel's a hater. Well, just for saying that, he's a hater. Now, a couple letters. Yeah.
Yes. By your own information, Bud ain't daring to be great right now. He's chasing a check. He's chasing a weak look.
That's like he's supposed to go up there and fight Wilder. He ain't daring to be stupid. He ain't daring to be stupid. Come on, bro. That's daring to be stupid. And Bud is far from stupid. Bud is a business.
Oh man.
He said Bud makes business decisions to fight weak links. Got it.
He knows he will whoop Canelo ass and get all of the credit, and that'll go down in the history books as the damn one of the great. Because the fans believe that Canelo. Some of the fans actually believe Canelo could beat Morrell and beat Benavidez, and by beating him, Bud's going to just get that credit for it now, and damn sure don't have to earn it. And that's the only way, because hell no, he ain't fighting them. But just hey man, it's time to retire if that's the only option left. As I said.
So
his ring IQ. Go ahead.
What else you want to share with the people, man? Because I want to get one more person.
Last thing, somebody said, "Oh yeah, well, I don't know who it was." They said, "Oh, he's going to land those body punches." Bro, you throw a body punch, that's when you get caught with a shot you don't see. Now, people say, oh, his chin. Yes, he has a hell of a chin. But, bro, when the body's not ready for a punch in a perfectly placed spot, you can be hurt. Canelo can be hurt. And if he gets hit with a shot that he never sees, and just that little bit where he gets a little dazed, is over. And y'all know he's the best finisher in the business. Canelo won't last. He'll go down and get knocked out just like anybody else that butt fought. So, and lastly, why do y'all keep giving Canelo the okay saying that, oh, he has nothing to gain from fighting Bud? But yeah, he can fight Jermell, and now he's talking about fighting Jamal. I mean, what credit is anybody going to give him for beating Jamal? So y'all need to jump on him and say, yo, bros, you need to stop with all that. You're not going to get no credit. And guess what? Bud said it, but Bud said he still would fight Tank. He said he wouldn't get no credit, but instead for that paycheck, he still will fight him. And that's all I got to say.
All right, appreciate you for calling in.
All right, guys.
All right, later.
Oh, that's too easy to catch with that check.
All right, man. I opened the phone line back up. I'm only gonna allow Tunnel Vision to call in. Tunnel said he was calling in. Tunnel just gave a $5. Floyd took on Diego Corrales as a major underdog. Canelo, Oscar De La Hoya in fights, he was outweighed by 20 plus pounds. Agreed. Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. All right. Well, Tunnel, I guess you might have said what you wanted to say there. Yeah, go ahead.
Also, Greg, we never agreed with Canelo fighting Mel or Maul.
Yeah.
Hell, Greg got on me, said I was I was crushing Canelo because of his Euro diet outside of Bivol. So I've never been a Canelo fan in who he's been fighting. It's been crafty matchmaking for him.
Recently.
Do I think he got skills? Yeah. He does got skills, but I want to see him fight the better fighters, which was, at the time, Benavidez was a mandatory, Boo Boo was a mandatory. He fought neither of them. He fought Billy Joe Saunders. He fought Abney Yildirim, Callum Smith, Caleb Plant. So miss me with that saying we were okay with any of that stuff. Caleb Plant was an okay fight. But the other ones we were never happy with, especially me. Greg used to tell me to calm down because I used to get hot about it. So, the next fight for him should be to win out of David Benavidez and Boo Boo.
Facts. Well, anyway, guys, we got to wrap this show up. I got to get upstairs, man, and cook some dinner, unfortunately. Hold on. Let me open up the line. Tunnel, the line open, man. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to get off because I gotta get upstairs and make this dinner. I just thought about that. Tunnel, the line open right now. Go ahead and give us a call. But am I behind? No, I'm up. We're waiting on Tunnel. Tunnel, you there? Call in Tunnel Vision. Okay, there we go. Yo, Tunnel, what's going on with you, fam?
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Doing well, bruh.
Yeah, man. I don't know what homeboy's talking about. It ain't got nothing to do with being a hater. It's supposedly this man. It's like the dumbest, most moronic thing I've ever heard in my life. You're saying that a guy can go up and he can take on the undisputed champion in a weight class, but for some reason he can't take on the contenders. That's some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? If you can take on the freaking undisputed champion of the world in that weight class, that basically, when you have all those belts, people are basically saying that you're the best in the world when it comes to that division. So he wants him to move up, supposedly beat Canelo, to be, quote, claimed as to be that guy, and then just drop the belts? Move on? No. If you're supposedly that great and you can beat that man that's the undisputed fighter, you should be able to beat any other any other fighter in that weight class. And he's not getting the fight. That's just the reality of it. If so, supposedly he wants this fight and he wants to become undisputed, you got to put them into a position where you're forcing that fight. And taking on someone like a David Morrell, who's the mandatory pushed into a position where you forced that fight. You beat him, ain't no one's going to be talking about, oh, this other person next, just that. No one's going to accept any other fight except Canelo Alvarez fighting Terence Crawford. No one else is going to care about any other fight if he was to do something like that.
Facts.
If you can't do it, then don't compare yourself to Floyd. You over here, you want to talk about Floyd. Floyd took on Diego Corrales when he was an underdog. Since you know so much about boxing, take your ass to that TV, look at that weigh-in, and you look at the size difference. Go look in the ring, and you look at the size difference that Floyd Mayweather had to deal with in that particular fight, where he was outweighed by 15-plus pounds in that fight. That man moved up all the way to welterweight. Welterweight, he was 147 pounds 2 months before the damn fight, and taking on guys 15, 20 pounds bigger than him, who are top 10 pound-for-pound fighters. Oscar De La Hoya, he came to the welterweight division, took on Zab Judah, took on Waldemir, who was a top guy in the weight class, beat them, then jumped up to 154 pounds to take on the top dude in that weight class, in Oscar De La Hoya, who was a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. He took on Canelo Alvarez at 152, 153, whatever it was, who was 15, 20 pounds bigger than him. Outweighed him, more power, age-wise, everything on his side. He did that. So, yeah, Terence Crawford taking on Morrell would be the same damn thing as what Floyd Mayweather did. It would be the same thing, except his hands ain't messed up like Floyd Mayweather. If he was supposedly as good as Floyd Mayweather, he would have already been at 168 pounds. He would have been melting himself down to 135 to take on little dudes. Would have been melting himself down to 140 to take on little dudes. He'd be fighting them dudes right now, because that's what Floyd was doing at his age. He hasn't even gone to a higher weight class than Floyd had gone up to, and he's way bigger than Floyd. He hasn't even fought at 154 pounds yet, and he's 36 years old. This dude has been put himself into a position where even Bomac said, why would we go to to PVC and fight tough fighters where we can get paid top money fighting bums? That's what Bomac said. He could have been at PVC taking on these tough fighters. He chose not to. And all this talk about how, he's fought Earl Spence, so now, he can do what he wants. What the fuck are y'all talking about? This dude fights one person, and all of a sudden now he's Gucci? Now he's good, he don't got to fight nobody after taking on one person? Get off with that. I ain't trying to hear that. One person. You made your money fighting bums your whole career. You made your money fighting lower-tier fighters your whole entire career. No, now you got to take on them big dudes. Now you got to take on those tough fights. You should be fighting Boots. If you're going to hold on to those belts, you need to fight Boots. If you're not going to fight Boots, drop those damn belts then. What are you holding on them for? And now you want to go up to 168 to fight this dude, but you don't want to fight the other dudes at 168. If you're so good, if these guys, y'all want to compare him to Floyd, do Floyd shit. Go do Floyd shit. Fight at your walk-around weight. Fight at above your walk-around weight. And we're not even asking you to take on top 10 pound-for-pound fighters. We're asking you to take on contenders. Take on contenders. You can't even do that? Go do that at least. You know what I'm saying? In fact, Greg, y'all over here, y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do a little exercise over here. Okay. Let's start naming all the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters that Terence Crawford made before the game. You name those, and I'll name the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters that Floyd Mayweather was going up against. Genaro Hernandez, you go ahead when it comes to Terence Crawford.
Errol Spence.
Okay. Diego Corrales, who was number 4 pound-for-pound. You go ahead with Terence Crawford.
I don't have any more.
Oscar De La Hoya, who was top 10, I think he was number 7. You go ahead when it comes to Terence Crawford.
I ran out.
Ricky Hatton, who was top 10 pound-for-pound at the time. You go ahead with Terence Crawford.
I don't have any more fighters.
Shane Mosley, who was top 10 pound-for-pound. You go against Terence Crawford. You go with Terence Crawford. Manny Pacquiao. I could keep freaking going on. There's no comparison. So stop comparing him. And we don't, and in reality, in the real world, we don't go with, he would have done this. He would have done that. That bitch-ass nigga had the opportunity to do that. He chose not to. Floyd went and he did it. You want to say he was in a position where he was with Oscar De La Hoya, with Top Rank, who wouldn't get him the big fights. So guess what he did? He left Top Rank, and he put himself in position to go get those big fights, to take on top 10 pound-for-pound fighters, and he went and got them fights, and he got it done, and he showed us in the ring. So if Terence Crawford is about that life, let's go see. Do your Diego Corrales fight. Go take on David Morrell, who's going to be way bigger than you, who has all that power, but you're way more skilled than. You got the skills. He's going to have the height. He's going to have the power, just like Diego Corrales had against Oscar De La Hoya. What's going to had against Canelo? What's against Floyd Mayweather? Canelo Alvarez had the youth. He had the power. He had the strength. He had everything. He had all that. So you go against him, so you go against David Morrell, which is basically the Canelo that Floyd Mayweather faced against, and you show us. Show us. Put yourself into a safe position. You want to talk about Floyd would be crazy to do that. Floyd fucking did it. If you know boxing, you would know that he did it. Okay? So don't come over here calling me a hater when you don't got your goddamn facts. Get your facts straight before you come on this motherfucking live and you start calling me a goddamn hater. Get your facts straight. When I talk my shit with facts and back it up. Okay? So unless you got those facts, keep my name out your goddamn mouth. And I'm out. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Later, Tano.
Yeah, drop
Good
that
luck.
mic, Tony.
Man, Tano blasted off, bro. Wow. All right, man. That was a great way to end this show. I want to say thank you to everybody that participated, called in, everybody that in terms of super chats and things of that nature, man. We appreciate you guys. That's the only way that we can make this channel go. So much appreciated. And we will be back with content tomorrow for sure. And Jay, anything else you want to share with the people?
Nothing to share after that shit.
Yo, man, the callers were fire today. Terrence, Tano, Jerry, Walt, and I can't remember what your name was. 757. You were fire too. So appreciate everybody for calling in, man. Go check out that video at the beginning of the podcast. It was excellent. And until next time, peace.
Peace.